so I felt pretty beat up, candidly.
Mad Dog Sports Radio has the best sports talk in the business, covering sports with a passion and knowledge you need. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 86, and the SXM app.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Saturday, January the 18th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. 12:30 p.m., New Jersey Devils take on the Philadelphia Flyers. Devils on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 936, Flyers on Internet 940. 3 p.m., Ottawa Senators face the Boston Bruins. Senators on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 939, Bruins on Internet 921. 4 p.m., Colorado Avalanche take on the Dallas Stars. Avalanche on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 926, Stars on Internet 928. 6 p.m., Florida Panthers face the Anaheim Ducks. Panthers on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 931, Ducks on Internet 920. 7 p.m., Winnipeg Jets face the Calgary Flames. Jets on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 951, Flames on Internet 923. 7 p.m., New York Rangers take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Rangers on Sirius 210, XM 221, and Internet 938, Jackets on Internet 927. 7 p.m., Tampa Bay Lightning face the Detroit Red Wings. Lightning on Sirius 161, XM 220, and Internet 945, Red Wings on Internet 929. 7 p.m., Washington Capitals face the Pittsburgh Penguins. Capitals on Sirius 211, XM 222, and Internet 950, Penguins on Internet 941. 7 p.m., Montreal Canadiens face the Toronto Maple Leafs. Canadiens on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 934, Leafs on Internet 946. 7:30 p.m., New York Islanders take on the San Jose Sharks. Islanders on XM 223, Internet 937, Sharks on Internet 942. 8 p.m., Nashville Predators face the Minnesota Wild. Preds on XM 202, Internet 935, Wild on Internet 933. 8 p.m., Chicago Blackhawks take on the Vegas Golden Knights. Blackhawks on XM 201, Internet 925, Knights on Internet 949. 9 p.m., Utah Hockey Club takes on the St. Louis Blues. Utah on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 947. Blues on Internet 944. 10 p.m., Vancouver Canucks take on the Edmonton Oilers. Canucks on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 948. Oilers on Internet 930.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. Sirius XM, Channel 89.
Mark Messier is a 6-time Stanley Cup champion. He won 5 with the Edmonton Oilers and 1 with the New York Rangers, and is the only player to captain 2 teams to Stanley Cup championships. In Edmonton, after winning back-to-back Stanley Cup championships in 1984 and 85, it wasn't until 1987 where the team would win their 3rd Stanley Cup championship. Speaking on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Messier joined Scott Laughlin for the morning skate on Sirius XM Channel 91 to talk about what it was like to win that 1987 Stanley Cup Finals series against the Philadelphia Flyers, despite blowing a 3-1 series lead and having to win it in a Game 7.
Mark, let's go back to the 1987 Canada, or not Canada Cup. That was still to come.
That was a good Canada Cup.
That wasn't Game 7, but that was an all-decider as well, as we know. But for Game 7... Yeah, that was pretty good stuff. But 87 in the Stanley Cup final, you're facing Philadelphia. You're up 3-1 in the series. They come back to tie it. Now you've got Game 7. Take us back to your greatest remembrances of, again, almost letting the series slip away and then having that opportunity in Game 7 to come up big, which you guys clearly did.
Well, it just goes to show you that we felt back in 87, we were really at the peak of that team in some ways. Some people think 85 team was the best team ever. 87, I think, was probably the most talented team. I think 85 team had a better overall record. I think it was 16-1 or 16-2 in that playoff year. 87, we got tangled up against Philadelphia, but we felt we're a better team. But sports isn't about who's a better team. It's about it's about the belief system inside the dressing room. And Philadelphia wouldn't quit. Mike Keenan wouldn't allow the young Philadelphia team to quit. They were kind of banged up. They had some injuries, but they were able to extend the series after what we thought probably should have been maybe at least 4 or 5 game series. We lost, I think, the first game, if I remember correctly, and then came back and won 3 in a row, coming home to win the 5th game. only to realize that winning a championship, even after all the experience we had, is not that easy. And then going back to Philadelphia for Game 6, and they trounced us in Philly. Now we find ourselves in a Game 7, and then once you get to a Game 7, anything can happen. You can get a bad break, an unlucky bounce, as we've seen in the past. And so everything's at stake, everything's on the line, and I think luckily for us, we're able to, really kind of rely on our experiences that we had in the past. We felt incredibly confident that if we went out and played our best game, and Philadelphia went out and played their best game, our best was going to be good enough. But even with that, there was so much uncertainty, and sure enough, we were able to win our third cup in 4 years, which was quite an incredible feat.
That was Hockey Hall of Famer and Stanley Cup champion for the Edmonton Oilers, Mark Messier, on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio's The Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin on Channel 91.
On the court and off, your home for the NBA is Sirius XM. Follow all the drama as your favorite team vies for it all. Sirius XM NBA Radio, Sirius XM 86.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Saturday, January the 18th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. 12:30 p.m., New Jersey Devils take on the Philadelphia Flyers. Devils on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 936, Flyers on Internet 940. 3 p.m., Ottawa Senators face the Boston Bruins. Senators on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 939, Bruins on Internet 921. 4 p.m., Colorado Avalanche take on the Dallas Stars. Avalanche on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 926, Stars on Internet 928. 6 p.m., Florida Panthers face the Anaheim Ducks. Panthers on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 931, Ducks on Internet 920. 7 p.m., Winnipeg Jets face the Calgary Flames. Jets on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 951, Flames on Internet 923. 7 p.m., New York Rangers take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Rangers on Sirius 210, XM 221, and Internet 938, Jackets on Internet 927. 7 p.m., Tampa Bay Lightning face the Detroit Red Wings. Lightning on Sirius 161, XM 220, and Internet 945, Red Wings on Internet 929. 7 p.m., Washington Capitals face the Pittsburgh Penguins. Capitals on Sirius 211, XM 222, and Internet 950, Penguins on Internet 941. 7 p.m., Montreal Canadiens face the Toronto Maple Leafs. Canadiens on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 934, Leafs on Internet 946. 7:30 p.m., New York Islanders take on the San Jose Sharks. Islanders on XM 223, Internet 937, Sharks on Internet 942. 8 p.m., Nashville Predators face the Minnesota Wild. Preds on XM 202, Internet 935, Wild on Internet 933. 8 p.m., Chicago Blackhawks take on the Vegas Golden Knights. Blackhawks on XM 201, Internet 925, Knights on Internet 949. 9 p.m., Utah Hockey Club takes on the St. Louis Blues. Utah on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 947. Blues on Internet 944. 10 p.m. Vancouver Canucks take on the Edmonton Oilers. Canucks on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 948. Oilers on Internet 930.
Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 brings you expert analysis from former players, coaches, and executives, plus reaction to all the latest news on the only 24/7 station dedicated to the National Football League.
New York Rangers legend and Hockey Hall of Famer Mark Messier joined Scott Laughlin on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91, to share what it was like to play in the 1994 finals with the New York Rangers, as well as ending the 54-year drought for the franchise and how that team represented what a hockey team is all about.
Well, look, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about 1994 as well. You mentioned Mike Keenan. We spoke with him in studio a couple of weeks ago. He still speaks so highly of you and of that run. So take us back to ending the 54-year drought. In Game 7, you get a power play goal. You shovel a puck underneath of Kirk McLean. Stands up as the game winner, as it turns out. So take us back to that hot, steamy night. What was it, June 14th of 1994 at the Garden in New York?
Just, I guess just starting, going to the rink, trying to keep your same routine. Brian Leach and I would always drive together down through Times Square, down Broadway 7th Avenue to take a right-hand turn on 33rd Street. And you could feel things were different, even from the Upper West Side. Just the vibe and the energy of the whole city was just electrified. Getting down towards Madison Square Garden, seeing the crowd already starting to build, the police officers surrounding the garden. It was a carnival-like atmosphere. Obviously, we knew we were something on the cusp of doing something that hadn't been done in 54 years. The magnitude of it was palpable. I mean, the energy, just everything just seemed to be so electrified. You try to keep yourself in the moment. You try to stay with your routine. Obviously, there's a much more at stake. And then, we found ourselves much like we did in 87, up 3-1 in the series, losing to fifth game where it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that New York Rangers were finally going to win a Stanley Cup after 54 years, only to find ourselves the party atmosphere got a little bit delayed and then had to go back to Vancouver, which again, we got trounced in Vancouver, just like we did in 87. And now we're coming home for game 7. And the same thing happened. It just, we felt good about our chances. We felt we were a better team than Vancouver. We felt that we should have wrapped up the series earlier against Vancouver, but that's the greatest thing about sports. You can think all you want, but the reality is they got a heartbeat over there too. They got pride over there too. They're there for a reason because they're a great team. And here we are in game 7 and happen to go out and execute a great game plan to beat a very hungry, very young, very physical, hard team to play against in Vancouver. And luckily for us, we had a lot of experience. We had a dynamic, incredible amount of talent with Brian Leach and Sergei Zubov, Alex Kovalev, Adam Graves, and Mike Richter and net, and then sprinkled in with some veterans, some hardened veterans with McTavish and Tikkanen and Steve Larmer and Noonan and Mateau and Jeff Bukaboom and Jay Wells and all the amazing players that banded together that year to create maybe not the most skilled team that's ever won a Stanley Cup, but if you look up the word team, they could put the 1994 Ranger team right there, and that year, that team epitomizes what a team is all about.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Saturday, January the 18th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. 12:30 p.m., New Jersey Devils take on the Philadelphia Flyers. Devils on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 936. Flyers on Internet 940. 3 p.m., Ottawa Senators face the Boston Bruins. Senators on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 939. Bruins on Internet 921. 4 p.m., Colorado Avalanche take on the Dallas Stars. Avalanche on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 926. Stars on Internet 928. 6 p.m., Florida Panthers face the Anaheim Ducks. Panthers on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 931. Ducks on Internet 920. 7 p.m., Winnipeg Jets face the Calgary Flames. Jets on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 951. Flames on Internet 923. 7 p.m., New York Rangers take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Rangers on Sirius 210, XM 221, and Internet 938. Jackets on Internet 927. 7 p.m., Tampa Bay Lightning face the Detroit Red Wings. Lightning on Sirius 161, XM 220, and Internet 945. Red Wings on Internet 929. 7 p.m., Washington Capitals face the Pittsburgh Penguins. Capitals on Sirius 211, XM 222, and Internet 950. Penguins on Internet 941. 7 p.m., Montreal Canadiens face the Toronto Maple Leafs. Canadiens on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 934. Leafs on Internet 946. 7:30 p.m., New York Islanders take on the San Jose Sharks. Islanders on XM 223, Internet 937. Sharks on Internet 942. 8 p.m., Nashville Predators face the Minnesota Wild. Preds on XM 202, Internet 935. Wild on Internet 933. 8 p.m., Chicago Blackhawks take on the Vegas Golden Knights. Blackhawks on XM 201, Internet 925. Knights on Internet 949. 9 p.m., Utah Hockey Club takes on the St. Louis Blues. Utah on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 947. Blues on Internet 944. 10 p.m., Vancouver Canucks take on the Edmonton Oilers. Canucks on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 948. Oilers on Internet 930.
Hear it all on demand. Your favorite shows, your favorite games. Don't miss a second of your favorite SiriusXM programming on demand with the SiriusXM app. Download it now for free.
6-time Stanley Cup champion and Hockey Hall of Famer Mark Messier stopped by SiriusXM NHL Network Radio's The Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin to discuss what Game 7 means to him and what it's like to also lose a Game 7.
Well, when you think about the two greatest words in sports, you think about Game 7 for many reasons. Obviously, to get to a Game 7, both teams obviously very evenly matched from the literal sense, the Game 7. You don't have to be a sport fan to understand that something's big at stake and that you will go watch it even if you don't know the teams, you don't know the players, you know the backdrop, because it's the greatest form of reality TV in the world, because there is going to be a winner and a loser. A lot at stake, obviously. But for me personally, it's a lifetime journey to acquire the skill set that's required to be able to perform when the stakes are the highest, under the most scrutinized pressure, when you're expected to perform. And you think about a Game 7 moment or Game 7, that's when you have to perform. It's a winner or go home situation. And what are the skill sets that are required to do that? Obviously, we've practiced our game and honed our skill set for years and years and years, tens of thousands of hours of honing our skills. But emotionally, mentally, what prepares you to play in those moments and perform when you're expected to? That, I think, is what really defines a Game 7 moment for the players that have excelled in Game 7 moments. And what are those life lessons that we can teach our young boys and girls, and the skill sets required to do that? The breathing, it's being able to slow your heart down. Your blood pressure goes up and your decision making is rash and concentration varies because of all of it. What allows you to kind of really slow down and use your God-given talent, and then obviously the repetitions through your whole life that you know you can do it. You just got to be able to do it when it matters most. It's like hitting a home run, and like Aaron Boone did, or doing something special at the right moments. And I think the educational part of the docuseries is really fascinating to me there, to help our young boys and girls who will be faced with big decisions in their life. And you don't have to be a sport fan to have a Game 7 moment in life. Everybody's faced with decisions that are going to alter the trajectory of their lives in one way or another there. And we're trying to figure out what those skill sets are.
What does it feel like to lose a Game 7?
Fortunately for me, I never experienced what the Oilers did last year, of going all the way to the end in a championship game and losing in a Game 7. Anytime you get to a Game 7, it's a hard journey to get there. Two teams, evenly matched. It's been a war. It's been a tug of war. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's tired. And then to lose that is devastating. I think about my own experience in Game 7, winning 7 of them. The two still hurt to this day. What could I have done different? You always say that you got to lose in order to understand how to win. I do agree with that. I think there are lessons in loss and in failure, both as a team and as an individual. If I had my preference, I would have liked to have learned those lessons while I was winning. But unfortunately, that's just not the way it is. But I look back at it now and just think about how grateful I am for all the lessons in wins and the losses, because it really ends up defining who you are as a person and as a player.
The PGA Tour comes to life on Sirius XM. It's your destination for everything on the tour. Hear live, hole-by-hole coverage and expert analysis. PGA Tour Radio, Sirius XM 92.
I'm Frank Tracton.
Who's not and who's not? Who's hot and who's not? Legacy Heating and Cooling, home and no payments and no interest for a year. The Oilers, well, they've been good since the last time these two teams met. 23-6-2, the best record in the NHL. 774 points percentage, number one in the NHL. 3.74 goals per game, number one in the NHL. 85.9% of the PK, number two in the NHL. Two local ties for Sobeys and Safeway. Liquor, wine, spirits, beer, and so much more. We'll focus on two members of the Canucks. Louis DeBrusk, his father Jake, of course, NHL hockey and Rogers analyst for the Oilers. Of course, a former Edmonton Oilers player. Out of the Southside Athletic Club, the same one that yours truly played for back in the day. And, it's going to be 6 degrees of separation right here, right now. We'll also focus on Carson Soucy, whose father, Mike, was a goaltender for Irma Wainwright back in 1980, and guess who knocked him out of provincials? You got it. Yours truly. So there you have it. There is a total of 10 minutes to face off, and this is Rogers Game Night on the Oilers Radio Network.
Hey, Paul Brandt here. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm proud to call myself an Albertan. You know, after years of touring this great province in my Ford F-150, I've learned the value of driving a tough, capable, smart truck. Whether you're working for the weekend or long-hauling it like I am, there's an F-150 for every Albertan, with plenty of options to choose from, like available Pro Power on board. So if you're looking for a new truck, stop by your Alberta Ford dealer and tell them PB sent you.
Get ready to live sky high. Sky Signature Suites offers remarkable units for rent, featuring sophisticated floor plans, designer finishes, resort-like amenities, and breathtaking views. Situated in the heart of Ice District, Sky is the address for socializing, dining, entertainment, and fun. A building like no other in a location like no other. Visit SkySignatureSuites.com and make your home high above the ordinary.
This is Rogers Game Night on the Oilers Radio Network.
Yeah, he's been playing extremely well, and I'm not sure the turning point of his season, but, it might have been right after the Four Nations announcement and him not being on it, and whether there's pressure or, that being on his mind, and then he didn't have to worry about that anymore, and he got back to playing the way he has been. He's been outstanding, and obviously we've been very happy with both our goaltenders. They've been playing really well and giving us a chance every single night, and sometimes stealing games for us. But both of them really solid play.
Stuart Skinner starts night for the Edmonton Oilers. That's Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch. Stuart Skinner is 12-3-1, a 2.14 goals against average, .923 save percentage in his last 16 decisions. All right, and speaking of Stuart Skinner, he had this to say on what he thinks the Oilers' greatest strength is.
Yeah, a lot of things have to kind of go well in order to do something like that. Huge credit to how the guys have been playing, but I think a lot of it's just kind of resilience. Like I think we've been down in a lot of games in that stretch. The way that we've been able to come back and just kind of stick with it, as we would say. I think, just like our battle, our mentality to show up every single day. The travel hasn't been super kind to us as it hasn't for a lot of the league, right? So just being able to kind of fight that off, not even think about it, and just focus on what we got to do in the moment has been a huge strength for the guys, and it shows.
Yesterday, the Edmonton Oilers, by the way, made it official. They agreed to terms with John Klingberg. That contract gets officially registered tomorrow, which means the Oilers will have to make a roster decision at that time. The player that probably knows Klingberg the best is one of his best friends, fellow Swede, Mattias Janmark.
Coming up those years that I was there, he was one of the most dynamic Ds in the league. Just really talented offensively, making plays, poised with the puck, great shot, just pretty much every offensive attribute that you could have. Hopefully he's healthy and he can find his way back.
All right, that is our Edmonton Oilers. Mattias Janmark. We bring aboard our Inside the Game analyst, Rob Brown. Rob, the Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks tonight. First of all, your thoughts on the Oilers' acquisition, agreeing to terms yesterday of John Klingberg. He's been skating for 6 months, we're told, after getting hip resurfacing surgery.
Well, I think it's low risk with a huge potential for a huge reward. We all remember how good a player he was. He was a fantastic hockey player for years and years in this league. He's a big defenseman that's got some offensive instinct, moved the pucks well, skated well. The last few years he has not been as good. But was it the hips? Was it the pain? Was that why he dropped off as much? So the others, I like the fact that they signed him now, because you get a look-see. You get a look-see for the next 6 weeks before the trade deadline, and then you got to make a decision. Is this the answer, or do we have to go get someone else? So to me, very low risk with the opportunity for a very, very big reward.
The Oilers turned their season around. Really, it got started here. They got the best record in the NHL since they were in Vancouver back in November. 20 23-6-2 over their last 31 games. It's funny. I don't know if you saw the quote from Vasily Podkolzin in The Athletic. Somebody paraphrased. I think he did the interview in Russian, and he talked about the fact that there was no stress in the team after the 0-3 start. That the players on the team were like, "Don't worry, we started worse last year. We got a good team." And he said the coaches were calm and self-assured, and away we go.
Well, yeah, and we talked at the beginning of the season. This is a team that the season didn't start the way they wanted, but it was the same group that we saw last year to go to Game 7. It's the same leadership, same goaltending, same superstars. There was no fear that they were going to fall off a cliff and this was going to be a complete disaster. It's just a matter of them finding the focus and the energy for games that just really aren't as important as the ones you just finished playing in June. So once they got going with this leadership group, the focus has been incredible. And I think the start to the season kind of mirrors a lot of the games they've played as of late. It's not going the way we want. No reason to panic. The coach doesn't panic. And if the game moves on, they start to take over. So this Oilers team is as good as any team in the NHL and is playing better than any team in the NHL right now. And they're the Vancouver Canucks right now. And I heard I think it was on your show where Ray Ferraro said they A game and a D game. If the Canucks don't have their A game tonight, this one could get ugly because the Oilers are playing that well.
Let's give Rob 15 seconds. Keys to the game for Ford.
Well, I think for the Oilers, just a lot of the same. Just continue doing what they've been doing. Don't look forward to the trip home tonight and finally seeing your family. You got focus for 60 more minutes, and you can have one incredible road trip. So focus on that.
That's our Inside the Game analyst, Rob Brown. More with Rob and Bryn Griffiths during the end of the roll. First intermissions. That's the Ford Keys to the Game, brought to you by Ford, the official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, built Ford proud. Jack Michaels is back in the saddle. He's got the call of tonight's game. It's the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks, live from Rogers Arena. Up next on 40 Oilers NHL Hockey on the Oilers Radio Network.
Sportsnet Plus is your ultimate destination for Oilers games. Stream more matchups than anywhere else. Spectacular! Catch Oilers action all season. Plans starting at $19.99 a month. Subscribe now at sportsnetplus.ca.
For years now, we've been warning Edmontonians on the hazards of our stormwater facilities. While they may appear to look like still ponds, there is moving water beneath the surface, which makes the ice dangerously... The unpredictability of stormwater facilities makes them treacherously unsafe for all winter activities, even walking. So think twice. Don't go on the ice. A safety message from EPCOR.
Pizza 73, the official pizza of your Edmonton Oilers. Loyal to the oil, in Edmonton we trust. Rising to the top like a pizza crust. Got the flavors to play, cooking on ice. Hunger happens, gotta score a slice. Let's go Oilers, E-Town unite. Ice District to Jasper, downtown to White. Wearing orange and blue, game on the screen. Make the right call, Pizza 73.
737373, Pizza 73.
Hey, hockey fans! Hard rubber works well on the ice rink, but not so good on frozen roads. Aturo tires are engineered with that in mind. Scientifically designed tread patterns, along with resilient rubber compounds, allow Aturo tires to grip well in the cold of winter, while providing excellent traction and long tread life through year-round conditions. Aturo has the all-weather tire for you, available at Action Car and Tire, Point S, and tire shops everywhere. Find a dealer near you at atturo.com.
The Edmonton Oilers with a record of 29-13-3 and atop the Pacific Division for the first time since March of 2020. On the road to finish up a stretch of 8 of 9 in 8 different cities and 4 different time zones. The Vancouver Canucks 19-15-10, just one win in their last 7 games. The Oilers have won 4 in a row, 8 of 9. The Coventry home starting lineup: Stuart Skinner in the pipes, in front of him Evan Boucher. And up front, you've got Connor McDavid centering Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. McDavid and Draisaitl broken up for this game as the Oilers will dress 11 forwards and 7 defensemen. They are 3-1-1 this year with that alignment. Off the draw, here's Quinn Hughes into the offensive zone. Takes the left wing shot that's easily repelled by Stuart Skinner, and here comes Hyman breaks in on Demko, centering pass, sifted away, and Pius Suter able to pick it up and bring it up the right-hand side for the Canucks. Vancouver dressed in their black, outlined in red and yellow, the early 90s sweaters. The Oilers in their whites with blue and orange trim. In Edmonton on the road, the third best record away from home this year at 14-6-2. Worked up the left-hand side. Hyman too far for Draisaitl. This may be icing, and that will be the call. Our referees, the veteran Wes McCauley and Chris Lee, linesman Kyle Murchison and Caleb Apperson. Your starting lineup once again brought to you by our friends at Coventry, offering flexibility within reach. Get back in the game with customizable designs by Coventry, the official builder of the Edmonton Oilers. Bob, we got two teams heading in opposite directions. Then again, that's why we play the games.
Absolutely, 100%. But Jack, Canucks last year, best team in the league, limited chances off the rush. This year, they've been much worse in that regard. Edmonton blew an odd man break early here.
Draisaitl winning a face-off against Elias Pettersson, and it's worked through the middle of the ice. That's going to be handled by the hulking 6'8" former Calder Trophy winner Tyler Myers. He sends it up the left-hand side. You've got Kulak scooping up the right wing boards, held in by Jake DeBrusk. Neither DeBrusk nor Miller has a point in his last five. Elias Pettersson has hit another cold patch as he works behind the Edmonton net, tugged free by Victor Arvidsson, and the Oilers break out left to right in this first period of play. Gaining the line is Darnell Nurse. That looked offside, and a late call comes in with a minute 20 gone by in this first period. As Bob mentioned in our pregame show, these two teams on November the 9th, Vancouver looked like, hey, we got another 100-point season on our hands, and Edmonton was struggling along at 6-7-1. But the Oilers blew out the Canucks by a count of 7-3, really broke it open in the third period. It had been tight through 40, and since then Edmonton 23-6-2 and Vancouver under 500. And off the draw, it's drilled in by Kulak. Edmonton's league best record over that time has them on the precipice of taking over sole position of first place in the National Hockey League's Pacific Division. Vegas is trailing, by the way, in Chicago 4-3 after two. Sent down low by Darnell Nurse. Stetcher manning the right-hand side on this pairing, but it's carved out there by Dan Heinen, and now activating his Vinny Desharnais, formerly of the Oilers, to send it in deep. Reversed by Stetcher, of course, broke in with the Canucks and played up the left-hand side. That's tapped back the other way by Teddy Bluger and ultimately handled by Nurse. The Oilers left to right. Janmark, who had 3 assists in that 7-3 slaughter of the Canucks back in November, will kick it back, and it's a reload for Edmonton as Nugent Hopkins eventually hands off to Ty Emberson. Lead pass, Nugent Hopkins to Bud Colson, streaking in right-hand side. Gains the line, kicks it back to Emberson. Put it down low for Noah Philp. Philp comes out of the right-hand corner with the puck and twists it down low for Corey Perry. But Colson setting a screen. Perry takes a shot and a save made by Demko, who gave up 3 goals on the first 4 shots he faced in the Thursday loss to LA by a count of 5-1. Niels Höglander, who recently broke a 34-game drought for the Canucks, up to Max Sasson. He'll wind it down low. Sasson playing his 20th NHL game. The veteran Phil DiGiuseppe poked the puck loose for a moment, but now twisted by Kulak over to Emberson, and the Oilers look up ice as they break out with 3 minutes gone by in this scoreless first period. Each team credited with 1 shot on net. Emberson to Connor McDavid. He has tortured the Canucks, against whom he hasn't been better than anyone other than Vancouver. Here's JT Miller. Change of pace down the right-hand side. Looking to get untracked. He'll give it up for Tyler Myers. Now Miller breaks open. Takes the drive. Wrist shot. Garland hit the side of the net. He appeared to have the top left corner, Bob, but missed his target. Garland back on the puck for Vancouver against Matthias Ekholm. Now McDavid breaks in. A centering pass. Ekholm broke it up. Tapped out toward McDavid and rifled back in by Soucy. A centering pass is going to be picked off eventually by Ryan Hopkins, and it's a reset for Edmonton, but a good shift for Vancouver that time.
Vancouver's got a lot of energy going, Jack.
Well, they're desperate. 1 win in their last 7 games and just 7 victories in 22 here at Rogers Arena. 2 beautiful sunny days in Vancouver. It's been crisp but gorgeous. Sent in deep and trying to control is Derek Forber. Now Desharnais tries the right-hand side, only to see it held in by Nurse. Down low, but Colson and Arvidsson sniffing, with Draisaitl lurking in the high slot. Draisaitl still the league leader in goals with 31, even though he doesn't have a goal in his last 4 games, which for him is a precipitous dry spell. Still second in the league with 67 points, and he scored in his last 7 games here in Vancouver. Sent in by Josh Brown. Reminder, 7 defensemen in the Edmonton lineup. DeBrusk will try to dig it out of the corner. It's popped up on the glass, but Colson, who of course broke in with Vancouver as a first-round pick, sees it swatted away. Emberson, weaving his way through the neutral zone, carries it back in for Edmonton. Adam Henrique sends one wide of goaltender Thatcher Demko, and Quinn Hughes is on the puck for Vancouver. Demko plagued by knee issues the last year, making back-to-back starts for the first time in a month as they try to work him back in and get him up to speed with repeated reps in the net. He has not looked that good. Coming in with a save percentage of .872. The Canucks got it in deep. Connor Brown cleared, and it was tipped in by Janmark. Grabbed by Quinn Hughes, and he'll send it over to Philip Roenick. Hughes, one of 2 defensemen in the league to lead his team in scoring this year. Werenski and Columbus the other. The outlet is Di Giuseppe, but he turned it over the blue line, and now Connor McDavid on the counter. Cuts to his left, over the line, tried to hand off for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, but Di Giuseppe had a stick tied up, and this will be iced by Danton Heinen. We've played 5.5 minutes, and there's no score in the hockey game. Edmonton, Vancouver, the second of 3. Bob, this season series is going to be over on Thursday when they play at Rogers Place back in Edmonton.
Well, I have the Canucks still making the playoffs. I know the Athletics got them at 81%. They'll make it despite their precipitous drop-off here over the last 14 games.
3 wins in their last 14. Edmonton has 11 in their last 14. Just to give you an idea of these 2 teams heading in the proverbial opposite directions. Draisaitl, McDavid, and Hyman getting an offensive zone faceoff following the icing call, and it's Draisaitl forcing it down low for Hyman. Push free for McDavid, who has 4 goals in his last 3 games. To Draisaitl. Surveys the situation from the right circle. Cross ice, and that was tipped out of the reach of Hyman. And having to reload at center will be Evan Bouchard, who outplayed Quinn Hughes in last year's second-round playoff series, won by Edmonton in 7 games. Hughes Suter up the right-hand side for Garland, and he'll float one across the Oiler blue line. Grabbing it is Draisaitl. Button hooks away from Hughes Suter, and now a rink-wide pass delivered by Ekholm to Bouchard. He gains the Vancouver line. Down low to Phil, nudged it on net. Easy save, Demko. Battling for the rebound, really digging in. Trying to free up the stick is Corey Perry. Nugent-Hopkins waving at it, but it's pushed free to Hughes, and now it's a 3-on-2 for Vancouver as Nugent-Hopkins dashes back. Suter to Hughes, centering pass, and Garland, well, Nugent-Hopkins got a healthy piece of him to deny the pass. Shot by Hughes, blockered away by Stuart Skinner. Grabbed by Sasson. Pro now out of the Western Michigan program. Cross ice Hughes, and now a shot by Roenick ends up being deflected out of play, and 7 minutes having elapsed in this first period. The Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers locked in a scoreless tie. The Oilers looking for their 5th straight win. The Canucks simply trying to get off the schneid. We've got no score. We're live at Rogers Arena in sunny Vancouver. Well, it's not sunny anymore. It's evening, but a gorgeous night in BC, and we've got more first period play-by-play in just a moment. The Oilers Radio Network.
Today you can score at A&W. Enjoy a juicy grass-fed beef mama burger and fries for only $5. Available in-store or on the A&W mobile app at participating locations in oil country. This fantastic deal is available all day today at A&W.
The Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation 50-50, presented by Rogers, is back and bigger than ever. The largest 50-50 in sports offers early bird draws, bonus raffles, and a main jackpot, which is growing by the second. With over $100 million invested across oil country, your support directly helps kids, families, and communities in need. Maybe you'll be our next winner. Get your tickets right now at EdmontonOilers.com and help make oil country a better place.
AGLC license number 696879.
I'm I'm Gene Principe for Legacy Heating and Cooling. Some people think I only know hockey, but I know from the flame in your furnace to your mighty ducts. At Legacy, we never shark our duties. We get cracking and knuckle down to have your heating and cooling systems workings right, so you get a comfortable night's sleep. And that's just our division. I mean, a division of Legacy. But let's get to Pacifics. With Legacy, you'll get no interest and no principal payments for 1 year on your new furnace. Legacy, the difference with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Sportsnet Plus is your ultimate destination for Oilers games. Stream more matchups than anywhere else. Spectacular! Catch Oilers action all season. Plans starting at $19.99 a month. Subscribe now at sportsnetplus.ca.
Today you can score at A&W. Enjoy a juicy grass-fed beef mama burger and fries for only $5. Available in-store or on the A&W mobile app at participating locations in Oil Country. This fantastic deal is available all day today at A&W.
Elias Pettersson will be waved out of the face-off circle to the left of Stuart Skinner. Brock Besser will take it and be cleaned up by Adam Henrique, who won the draw convincingly for Edmonton. Stetcher tries the right-hand side. It's held in for the moment by Forbert. And now a lead pass to Kulak on to Connor Brown, who scored twice in Edmonton's win in Vancouver back in November. Brock Besser will grab the puck for Vancouver in the defensive zone ahead to DeBrusk, who leads this team with 17 goals. Cold lately, along with this man Pettersson, out to Desharnais. His shot blocked in front of the Oiler net. And then from his backside, Troy Stetcher made a great play up to Brown. And it's Adam Henrique who works his way into the offensive zone. Bides his time, sends it down low. Kulak, sharp angle shot. And Demko really squeezing that near post. And had he not, Bob, that was going in.
Yeah, 100% going for the old bank shot. Was Brett Kulak, who's had a hot stick this year, broke a 20-game goalless drought. Still up to 6 goals on the season, though.
Tied at a career high with that 6th goal. His last goal had been in Colorado, and then he scored again in Edmonton's come-from-behind win on Thursday, 4-3. That was the same night Vancouver was shellacked by L.A. 5-1. Oilers, it was the first time in the history of their franchise that they rallied from 2+ goals down on back-to-back nights. But Colson up the middle to Victor Arvidsson, and now Draisaitl lumbers into the offensive zone. Dishes, fake one-timer Josh Brown. Arvidsson inside to put Colson curled between Nurse and Draisaitl, who played Alphonse and Gaston, and the Oilers must reset back in their own end. 11:45 to go in the first period. And yes, Bob, I realize I'm dating myself with that reference. Here's Draisaitl to Arvidsson. Right point will send it down low. Draisaitl able to touch on, put Colson, who had 14 goals as a rookie with the Canucks a few years ago. Ekholm put Colson, kept it in, but Suter eventually able to bring it out for Vancouver. Hugh Suter, you can count on him to score either 14 or 15 goals every year. Arvidsson in from the right-hand side. Drop pass for Leon Draisaitl. Edmonton back into the attacking zone. Here's Ekholm. One-timer Arvidsson and a kick save made by Demko. Rebound Connor Garland up to Philip Roenick, and at center ice he'll send it in deep. A reminder, Demko was 35-14-2. Then got hurt, and the complexion of Vancouver's season changed. Really the way they played. Elias Pettersson tried to dish out. It was tipped and grabbed and fired toward the net from distance by Forbert. That was broken up. Canucks have changed their style of play and really became kind of a low-output team in terms of the shot clock offensively. Dug out, Nugent Hopkins to Bouchard, and then dropping it off for McDavid. Beautiful dish, and Hyman had his shot blocked by a sliding Forbert. That was a terrific defensive play. Now Bouchard, pass deflected, quick shot McDavid, stopped by Demko. McDavid has points in 18 of his last 19 against Vancouver. 67 points in 44 career games against the Canucks. Here's Bouchard down low. Actually 41 regular season games, and he added 11 in the playoff series. Hughes under control. Touched on by Forbert up the left-hand side for Jake DeBrusk. And it's spilled in by Brock Besser. He's been quiet lately as well for Vancouver. Just 1 goal in his last 8 games, and they depend on him. Emberson up the right-hand side. Besser scored 40, remember, a year ago. Centering past Janmark, not ready for it. Noah Philp. That was there. Janmark grabbed the puck, fired by Emerson, and that pinballed off DiGiuseppe right to Sasson. He'll carry it up ice for the Canucks. Halfway through this first period, no score. Shots on goal, 4-2 thus far for Edmonton, who gets a clear from Corey Perry. On to Phil. Janmark stuffed by Höglander immediately, taken by DiGiuseppe, and now Höglander breaks loose. To the net, Höglander backhanded a 9. Brilliant stretching out. Skinner somehow kept it out. Vancouver can't nudge it over the line. Roenick one-timer. And selling out for a blocked shot was Matthias Janmark. Skinner, incredible core strength, stretching out the left leg fully extended to deny Höglander, and then whacking at it was Quinn Hughes. Never got it over the line, and then Roenick's desperation shot was deflected out of play. We remain scoreless. Skinner needed every bit of that 6 foot 4.5-inch frame, but he keeps Vancouver at bay, and we've got no score at Rogers Arena in BC. 9:16 to play first period. Coming right back with more first period play-by-play in just a moment with Ford Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Calling all hockey parents. Ford of Canada and the Edmonton Oilers want to know how your child's minor hockey team gives back to the community. For a chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime experience with Ford drills and skills to train like a pro at Rogers Place. Open to minor hockey teams with players between the ages of 7 to 13 in Edmonton and area. Register your child's minor hockey team today at FordDrillsAndSkills.ca. Registration closes January 31st. When was the last time your electricity and natural gas provider made you feel like this? Low rates, no strings attached, year-round perks, and local energy experts who always have your back with Encore by EPCOR. Find that carefree energy feeling at encore.epcor.com/carefree.
Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4022 toll-free.
Hockey is back, and so is Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sports book and the official partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Cheer for the Oilers while scoring bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. Already a player? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Download the new Sportsbook app and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Heroes of Oil Country, Mega 50-50, presented by Rogers, now live, and of course benefiting our brave veterans who've served our country. Right now the jackpot's sitting at $464,000. Early bird prizing tonight. You can win a pair of tickets to an upcoming Oilers game or $2,000 cash. Register now at Oilers.com. Get those tickets. Buy them at Oilers.com 50-50. Here's Nurse racing Sasson in the corner off an offensive zone draw for the Canucks. Höglander and Hughes recently denied by that outstretched left leg of Stuart Skinner. I'll tell you what, if he's 6'2", it's probably 1-0 Canucks. But he makes the save, and now Josh Brown to reset for the Edmonton Oilers. Ty Emberson working his way through the neutral zone. Pass deflected to Desharnais, and now JT Miller on the counter for Vancouver. Took a 10-game personal leave of absence earlier this season. Emberson resetting for the Oilers up the right-hand side. Carson Soucy able to hang on to it. Here's Connor Garland on his backhand. He'll take it behind the net, kick it out. Soucy waits and dishes. Tyler Myers fed it in front, kicked on net by Garland to save Skinner. Back to the play momentarily, but the Oilers clear the rebound. Henrique to Connor Brown, and it's in indeed.
Way too long of a shift for two-thirds of those guys on the third line there, Jack.
Meanwhile, Stuart Skinner's looking a little like a backup in Minnesota the other night. Marc-Andre Fleury with some acrobatics in the net. Here's Jake DeBrusk into the offensive zone for Vancouver. Hughes across to Roenick. One touch, DeBrusk, a drive, a save made by Skinner. Backhander, and a stop on Pedersen by Stuart Skinner, who holds his way one more time. He's got 8 first-period saves, 7:47 to go in the first period. Pretty impressive push here from the Canucks on back-to-back shifts.
Yeah, Edmonton's done a poor job in terms of transitioning the puck out of their own zone. There's been some chances. And Skinner's been solid for Edmonton's made 2 or 3 real real good saves down low.
Oilers have not had a great first period in their last 5 games, being outscored 11-4, but winning, of course, 4 of those 5 games. Only Pittsburgh were they unable to dig their way out of a hole. But I think what you're thinking, Bob, is you can't continue to go to the well. Hughes from Ronan. Lining up, centering pass deflected. After all, we told you it's the first time in the history of the franchise you win on back-to-back nights down by 2+. Draisaitl will send it in deep. Skinner, a big reason why Edmonton isn't down at all. We're scoreless as Podkolzin works the right-hand side with Arvidsson, bumped up to Kiefer Sherwood, who's got 13 goals for Vancouver this year. Hughes ahead for Ronan. Injury-plagued season. He's missed half the games. Hughes from Sherwood lost the handle. He's going to have to regroup at the red line. Canucks pour back in right to left. Dan Heinen to the net with a wrist shot. Glove save made by Skinner. His 10th in 13 minutes. And again, we're talking about Vancouver dead last in the league in shots on goal and next to last in shot attempts. And already, Bob, Edmonton has coughed up 10 in 13 minutes.
You know, Ray Ferraro told us in Oilers Now a couple days ago, Bob, they have an A game and they have a D game. I think we're seeing their A game tonight. They're going good early. But they're leaning in like JT Miller, physical with Connor McDavid in front of the net, opening shift of the game. Things like that.
Miller won a face-off from McDavid. Here's Tyler Myers. Dropped it down low, reaching for it, Miller. Vancouver desperate to get back inside the playoff bubble. Right now, a point out of the last wild card spot, which currently is occupied by Calgary. But St. Louis, as you know, Bob, is starting to put some wins together. With Cam Fowler in the fold on defense. Sent in deep by the Canucks. Here's Ekholm with a high flip that was touched, I thought, with a high stick by Sasson. And indeed, they whistle it down with 6:37 to go in that first period. Problem for the Blues is they can't string any kind of wins together. Going into today, I believe, they have not won 3 in a row all year long, and that continues with a loss to Utah.
Well, they're down 4-2. It's midway through the second.
Oh, all right. So, in other words, don't put the cart before the horse.
But, yeah, they're not playing well.
Well,
they can't sustain it.
They're playing better, but they can't sustain it. No. You got to go on streaks in the NHL if you're going to get inside that playoff cut line. Forward. Off the neutral zone draw, can't control for Vancouver. Instead, it's Corey Perry taking off his feet. Sasson up the left-hand side. He's been up and down a few times. Of course, Vancouver's affiliate is in Abbotsford, nearby here in British Columbia. Connor Brown with a shot that was blocked by Derek Forbert. Here's Noah Phil. Carrying to the middle of the ice, kicking it back. Emberson a shot, dropped briefly, and then held by Demko with 6:05 remaining in the first period. First shot in a while for Edmonton, and just its 5th of the hockey game. The Oilers tops in the league in shots on net, and Vancouver, as we talked about, dead last.
Vinny Desharnais working over the Oilers. Corey Perry. Corey maybe trying to get the guys going a little bit. And Chris Knobloch's going to put McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman together here. Second shift for them. 5v5 in this period. For Vancouver, it comes down to this. They're a strong possession metrics team when they have Quinn Hughes on the ice. When they don't have Quinn Hughes on the ice, they're not a strong possession metrics team. They're going to put Carson Soucy out here along with Tyler Myers, so 6'4.5" and 6'8" on D. And these guys have been hacking and whacking against Edmonton dating back to last year's playoffs.
Draisaitl, McDavid, and Hyman on the ice, along with Ekholm and Bouchard. The other reason I harp on the shot clock is in Vancouver, it actually means something. When the Canucks actually get 30 shots on net, Bob,
it's a real 30.
They're 8-0-2 as well. They're unbeaten. Here's McDavid down low to Hyman, a backhander denied by Demko. Edmonton's best chance of the night, and a second chance set up by McDavid. Draisaitl missed a one-timer. McDavid tried to thread it through again, and this time it was broken up. Hughes Suter up the middle of the ice. JT Miller scampers his way in. Shot Suter. Glove save made by Skinner. And we'll take timeout. 5:42 to go in the first period. Stuart Skinner with 11 saves in this opening frame. Edmonton, its 2 best looks of the night. Hyman stopped and Draisaitl misfires on a one-timer. And as a result, we remain scoreless in Vancouver. Rogers Arena. Final 5 and change of period 1 when we come back with 4 Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Do you have tickets to an upcoming event at Rogers Place that you can't attend? Donate your tickets to the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation Seats for Kids program, presented by Eagle Builders. Seats for Kids provides unused game tickets for charities, allowing children and families to enjoy hockey at Rogers Place. And for many, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. To be a part of the Seats for Kids program presented by Eagle Builders, please email edmonton@kidsupfront.com. That's edmonton@kidsupfront.com.
It's a new era for Ford in Edmonton. Welcome to Big West Ford. Located westbound on Stony Plain Road just east of the Henday, Big West Ford is Edmonton's newest and most exciting Ford dealership. Whether you're after the legendary F-150, the Powerhouse 350 Super Duty, or the adventurous Bronco, they've got you covered with exceptional selection and service right here in your city. Big West Ford, driven by you. Visit Big West Ford at 18208 Stony Plain Road or online at bigwestford.com.
All games, all season. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
Oilers 7-1 in January and 26-3-2 in the last 3 Januaries. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer with you. And, of course, our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth. Bob, you're full of theories. Got one for that?
Well, the team does start a little slow in the fall. There's a thing called seasonal.
So they do it out of desperation?
Seasonal affective disorder in the fall. It's dark, right?
Miller against McDavid. Face off in the Oilers defensive zone, and the Oilers get a clear up the right-hand side. Philip Hronek up to Hughes Suter. Makes a move on McDavid. A dart to Miller. One touch on to Hughes, but he mishandled the puck, and we're going to have a slash whistled against Edmonton. And the Vancouver Canucks will earn the first power play of the night as Evan Bouchard goes to the box. This has been yet another sore spot for struggling Vancouver. Just 2 for its last 22 on the power play. Overall, they're at 21%. But again, recently they've been playing lousy, and that's carried into their special teams.
Oilers 24th in the league at 76.2%. Got to win draws.
But as you know, 87% over the last 2 months.
Yep.
Among the best penalty killing units in the league over that stretch. So again, there's recency bias here, but Edmonton's been winning games. Vancouver's been losing them. Here's Miller against Draisaitl. Miller wins the face-off. Quinn Hughes operating left face-off dot. Shot deflected in from his knees. Connor Garland, I believe, got a piece and lifted it over Stuart Skinner. It's 1-0 for the Canucks for Connor Garland, his 12th at 14:38. Garland always seems to save his best for Edmonton.
Oh, Jack, you got to see how bad this call is on Bouchard. JT Miller sticks him, and Bouchard just gives him the stick back, and they call out a penalty. And actually, I think it goes in off of Ekholm. I don't know if Garland ever got a piece on it.
Well, he was first in the handshake line, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt for now and say it's Garland's 12th from Hughes on the power play at 14:38. Darnell Nurse off the center ice draw. And once again, Edmonton finds itself trailing. The Oilers had run off 7 games in a row where they got the first goal, but now, Bob, they've given up the first goal in 5 of their last 6 games.
Eventually, it's going to come back and haunt you.
Here's Hronek up the left-hand side, and a puck tipped out of play by Josh Brown. 4:56 to go in the first period, and 1-0 for the Canucks. Miller and Hughes given assists on Garland's 12th. They do rule Garland did get a piece of that.
Miller sold that call. It was a veteran play. Embarrassed the referees with it. Rack threw his head back after taking a slash on the wrist for Bouchard right after he gave him a stick before that.
Teddy Bluger wins the faceoff from Leon Draisaitl. Hronek to Hughes up the right-hand side. It's lifted in by Bluger. Sherwood and Heinen in on the forecheck is Rick Tocchet adjusting his lines for Edmonton. We've seen coaches do that time and again over the last 3 or 4 weeks as Edmonton is heated up. Here's a clear by Draisaitl up the right-hand side. Arvidsson on the puck, deflected away by Heinen and tracked down by Darnell Nurse. With Heinen bearing down on him, up the gut, it's Draisaitl with a handoff to Arvidsson. Rink wide, that's going to be picked off by Phil DiGiuseppe, and he'll walk in for the Canucks. Change of pace on Nurse, out to Myers, a drive, a save, rebound, score. Heinen stuffed home the rebound, issued by Skinner. 2-0 Vancouver. Heinen is sixth.
Well, it starts in the corner. Kiefer Sherwood, who's got a ton of hits, goes in and cross-checks Leon Draisaitl, and Leon's sitting there, where's the call? Puck comes back up the ice, they get it back in, and the Edmonton Oilers, Vancouver's an emotional team, we know that about them. We've seen that about the Canucks. The Canucks have replaced the Winnipeg Jets with one of the more emotional teams out there. And the Oilers right now, they got a tiger by the tail to deal with. And they're not getting any help from Stripes, who are in game management mode right now.
Suter will punch it across the Edmonton line. Miscommunication. McDavid comes back to field that puck and send it ahead for Nugent Hopkins. He'll loft it in on one bounce. Demko guides it behind him for Carson Soucy out of Irma, Alberta. Center ice. It's Myers. Little give and go. Tried to center, and that was picked off by McDavid and left behind the net for Troy Stetcher. Now Kula up the gut for Nugent Hopkins. Chipped across the Vancouver line. Soucy will fling it over to Myers, and then back to Soucy. On to Garland. Loading up from center, instead decides to just dump it in. DiGiuseppe will get an assist on the scoring play as well. Myers and DiGiuseppe assisting on Heinen, sixth. Now Max Sasson operating behind the Edmonton net. Tumbles to the ice. Corey Perry for the Oilers will flick it back to Ekholm, who will reset for the Oilers with 3 minutes to go in this first period. The outlet pass completed to Perry. Drop pass for Matthias Janmark. And a shot sent wide by Noah Philp. The rebound, Evan Bouchard. Now Janmark. Dishing Colm. His drive tipped away by Höglander. Bouncing puck corralled by Höglander on to DiGiuseppe. And the Canucks come up ice. Höglander. That time, they know that backside official got it. There was a high stick, no question, and it was called.
He sold it.
Well, that time he was clearly hit. I thought that was more of an obvious high stick than the slash.
Guys are missing a good game tonight, Jack. I'll tell you that. That's what Ekholm's saying right now. He's going to the box, throws his head back like he's been shot. Got him on the shoulder.
And what Ekholm is saying is the reaction didn't warrant the contact, but there was contact. The stick was in his face.
So call it both ways.
To go in the first period.
I've seen it both ways here in the first. Tell you that.
JT Miller.
Gonna wave a guy on a certain clear as well.
Won the face-off, back to Quinn Hughes. Darts to the net. Hughes kicks it out. Brock Besser fires, and that was deflected. Sent off the half wall. Here's Besser to Hughes. Threw it across. Loading up. Pedersen fires, and a glove save made by Stuart Skinner. Looked sharp on that.
That was a good save.
2:25 to go in the first period. Want to advise everyone that, of course, our penalty kill is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. The Canucks scored so quickly on their first power play that we didn't get that in. And Vancouver with 2 goals in a span of 1:11. One on the power play, one at even strength. And a chance to put Edmonton in another 3-0 hole. The Oilers just dug themselves out of that hole on Thursday night in Colorado. Miller wins the face-off. Now it's Hughes with his club leading 2-0. Dangling down the right-hand side, Nugent Hopkins and Henrique. Out there with Brown and Nurse. Here's Hughes. Tried to dish off to Miller, loading up for the one-timer, and that was deflected. Subtle little pick from Besser. Now it's Miller. Off to Hughes. Waiting, centering, and a couple of sticks couldn't get on there. Nurse went down in a heap. Now Hughes fires and scores. Second power play goal of the period for Vancouver. Hughes has 3 goals in his last 4 games and 11 on the year, and it's 3-0 Canucks.
Well, Skinner made a great save on Pedersen before. But the long-range bomber, their offense is all running through one guy. Their best player by a mile is Quinn Hughes. Nugent Hopkins tried to sell a trip. He couldn't get it. Oilers haven't had a call all period. Canucks have been the better team. And here we go again, down 3-0.
3 goals in a span of 3 minutes and 22 seconds. And Edmonton trailing 3-0 in Vancouver. They were down 3-0 in Colorado, 2-0 in Minnesota, 2-0 in Chicago, and 3-0 in Pittsburgh. And yet, the Oilers come in with 4 wins in their last 5 games in that stretch. And again, the only loss was in Pittsburgh, where they nearly rallied from 5-1 down. Here's Hyman off to Leon Draisaitl, out to Bouchard, a drive sailed wide. McDavid on this line as they come off an unsuccessful kill. Vancouver 2 for 2 on the power play. Here's Draisaitl to McDavid. Ekholm will send it down low. The Oilers got one in the final minute of the first period on Thursday night. They'll look to do the same here in Vancouver. Change the complexion of the game. Draisaitl to McDavid. Out to Bouchard. Loading and firing wide. Rebound. Draisaitl can't find it. Back on the puck for Edmonton. Steered out for McDavid. Makes a beautiful move around Hyman. One-timer Draisaitl. And a block shot by Roenick. Went straight to Kiefer Sherwood. He was punished by McDavid, but he did manage to loft the puck back through center. Draisaitl to McDavid. Less than a minute to go in the period. McDavid near the end of his shift. Plows through one man. Shoots, and that kicked off the glove of Demko and sailed out of play with 48 seconds to go in the first period. Demko, good stop to keep the momentum on Vancouver's side. It must be stated, and I know Vancouver's had the 2 power plays, but still, the shots from an Edmonton standpoint, an alarming 16-5 against. This is a Canucks club that's had fewer than 30 shots in 19 of their last 20 games.
Oilers have missed chances. Point-blank look twice for Zach Hyman in this game. He's got to finish some of these opportunities, and he hasn't been, especially when he's the guy getting the looks on the line with McDavid and Draisaitl.
Henrique, Philp, and Perry out there for Edmonton on this offensive zone draw. Henrique won it. Emberson twirled it down low. Hughes will look to chisel that off the boards. Redirected by Pettersson back behind the net. Forber off to Jake DeBrusk, and he slashes it free out to center. Half minute to go, first period. Again, Arvidsson scored the late first period goal Thursday night that maybe gave Colorado the idea their goaltender wasn't going to go .950 for the rest of the way. Mackenzie Blackwood, a shot from distance by Philp, easily blockered away by goaltender Thatcher Demko. Here's a shot by Kulak, and that's swallowed up by Demko, making himself large in the Vancouver net. With 11 seconds remaining in the period, Edmonton will get another attacking zone draw, but the Oilers at least able to get shots on the Vancouver goal. They had only had 1 shot in the last 11 minutes prior to that sequence.
Well, for me, a somewhat predictable first period. You got a team that's desperate, that you know when they play their game, they can play, and you got an Oilers team coming in, and the whole thing switched on a very 50-50 penalty call against Evan Bouchard, and then to Vancouver's credit, they've smelled a little blood in the water here, John.
It was an even game with 5.5 minutes to play in the first period. Now it's Vancouver. One more look for McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman with 11 seconds to go in the period. Chris Knobloch figures why not. Draisaitl chased out of the circle, and it will be Miller against McDavid. Stetcher and Nurse the D pair. Miller won the faceoff. Sent it back behind the net for Roenick, trying to kill the clock, but he can't do it. It's forced back behind the net. The puck is Garland, just trying to freeze it against the kick plate, that yellow strip beneath the dasher boards, and he succeeds in that endeavor. And as a result, Vancouver, a near letter-perfect first period from a Canucks standpoint, considering they had all of 1 win in their last 7 games. And other than Quinn Hughes, it's the depth of their lineup. Garland and Heinen with the other goals. Di Giuseppe and Myers getting on the score sheet. JT Miller, his first point in 6 games. But all in all, Bob, Quinn Hughes, you said it, a goal and an assist. He's one of 2 guys, Zach Werenski being the other. I mean, they're the most valuable players on their respective teams. If the Blue Jackets get in the East and the Canucks get in the West, it will be because of those 2 players, Werenski in Columbus and Hughes in Vancouver.
And yet, will either of them either end up winning the trophy? Because there's a guy in Colorado named Cale McCarthy.
Oh, he'll have a say.
He'll have a say. Unfortunately, this is becoming a reoccurring reassuring thing. And
14-4, the last 6 first periods that Edmonton has played.
Now, Edmonton's.
Why do you think the sluggish starts all of a sudden have crept in?
I think the Oilers, what they do is when they put themselves in a crap position to start the year, they wake up and realize, hey, we got a decent team here, let's get going, and they start going early in the games. Right? Teams start to maybe underestimate them a little, but this team, for whatever reason, in my personal opinion, they don't handle prosperity well. And I'm sorry.
Although they've been prosperous for 2 months straight.
They have, but they've been chasing games for 5 games in a row. And you can't always come back in this league. And so, they didn't get a late one in that period. They're very disappointing. I mean, the penalty killing, in both situations, you got to win draws. And
they hadn't given up 2 power play goals in a game since mid-October, and now they've done it twice this week.
Yeah, with both goaltenders. If you look at the save percentages of Edmonton's goaltending and the penalty kill, it
directly correlates to their success or failures.
End of discussion. I mean, Calvin Pickard has the 4th worst save percentage in the NHL on the PK amongst NHL goalies.
And he's had a terrific year. But outside of that,
it's been 5 on 5.
Yeah.
So poor start. Edmonton, you know what the numbers are in terms of the split in the second period, the goal differential in the second period for Edmonton.
Yeah, except Vancouver, unlike Colorado, is a pretty good second period club in their own right.
This has the feel, John.
But Edmonton is the best team in the league. They're plus 29 in the second.
This has a feel to me of a game that this reminds me a lot of the 2 games. Well, certainly the first game last year between Edmonton and Vancouver. Because the second game in Vancouver, the Oilers outshot them 19-2 and were tied 1-1, and the Canucks scored late in the first. But the first one, the Canucks, got up 2-0, and then the next time it was 6-0. Edmonton better wake the you-know-what up. They've had a lot of things go their way. They could get run out of this building tonight, and they're down 3-0 here. Now, saying that, at some point, if you're going to call the ticky-tack BS, you've called them the 2 penalties so far in this game, you would think that the marbles would even up. A couple veteran referees working this game here, and believe me, the Bouchard penalty is as bad a call as you will see. I mean, it's just...
Are you saying I should have sweet-talked him in the concierge lounge? Because I saw him about an hour and a half ago.
One of the best referees in the league didn't like the call. We're entitled to have that feeling. So, you know what? This is sport. You got a team that's won 3 of 14 games, and they're reeling. And you got to jump them in their building. And Edmonton didn't do that.
Put them back in a negative mindset.
Their fans are ready to be nervous, right? Because what happens to Canadian fans is during the regular season, they're all GMs at the game. And then in the playoffs, they become fans and support their team. When they're going through the crap, they're trying to help their team out when they're going through the crap in the playoffs. But in the regular season, they're tightening the noose on the team because they're paying high dollars to watch a team play. Canucks jacked up their ticket prices this year. Their fans are unhappy, and tonight they've got the perfect emotional team for them to come in. And Edmonton has to match the emotional intensity. If they don't do that, they have no chance, Jack, to work themselves back into this game.
Give JT Miller an assist on the Hughes goal that made it 3-0. The second of 2 power play goals for Vancouver in that first period. So Miller has 2 assists, Hughes a goal and an assist, and Vancouver in command 3-0 after 20. But again, if you've been paying attention the last couple weeks, you know the Oilers are number 1 in the league with 6 come from behind wins when down 2 goals or more. They're down 3-0 again. This time in Vancouver, the same script was sitting there for them Thursday in Colorado, and they came all the way back for a 4-3 victory. They've got 40 minutes to live. Vancouver, for now, feeling awfully good, having put up 16 shots on net as compared to just 7 for Edmonton. In short, all Canucks 3-0 after 20. Bryn and Rob waiting patiently on the other side. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
Real Canadian Superstore has more ways to save than any other major grocer. Check out their weekly flyer for PC Optimum offers, deals on club size, no name, and always low-priced everyday items. Visit in-store to find everything from fashion and home decor to toys and electronics. And don't forget their new fresh promise on produce. If your produce isn't fresh, they'll replace it and refund it. There are so many ways to save at Real Canadian Superstore. See their flyer for details.
It's our YEG with 880 Chad.
This year, during Edmonton School Board PD Days, the Alberta Aviation Museum is letting young enthusiasts' imagination take flight with a series of camp adventures ideal for ages 6 to 11. Find out more at albertaaviationmuseum.com. Then saddle up for 4 days of phenomenal country as Big Valley Jamboree returns to Camrose with headliners Bailey Zimmerman, Blake Shelton, Jason Aldean, and more. Tickets on sale now.
For details on these and more events, visit 880ched.com. At the intermission, brought to you by Hand of the Roll Flooring Centers. Let's get flooring.
Now Hoglander breaks loose. To the net. Hoglander backhanded to 9. Brilliant stretching out. Skinner somehow kept it out.
Was that a sign of things to come? That's our Highlight Zone, brought to you by Century Casinos. All in, all games, all season. Century Casinos with 3 great locations in Edmonton, St. Albert, and right next door to the Edmonton International Airport. Welcome to the Winter Zone. Welcome to the first intermission. Bryn Griffiths and Rob Brown, Studio B. Well, wow. I'll say this. The Vancouver Canucks had to come out like that, and boy, did they ever, Rob.
Well, it's funny. Ray Ferraro, who we all have great respect for, said earlier this week that the Canucks have an A and a D game. They got nothing in between. And we talked before the game, you and I, that if they didn't bring an A game, they'd be in trouble. Well, they brought their A game. That's exactly how we saw them play most of last year. That's how we saw them play in the playoffs against the Oilers. They were exceptional in that first period. He just played the save that Skinner made. He made a couple big saves and still gave up 3. So the Oilers were chasing. Fatigue's probably a bit of an issue. They were a little undisciplined. I know Bob didn't like the call, but that was a penalty on Bouchard. It was undisciplined. He was mad that he got cross-checked and he swung a stick. Ref's always going to call the second one. They just gave the Canucks more life, and the Vancouver Canucks knew they had to come in this game, Bryn, and bring everything they had to compete, and they did. That was a very good period by the Vancouver Canucks, and the Oilers looked a little sluggish.
Yeah, great pace to start, too. We had a stretch of over 5 minutes without a whistle in that one, and Skinner looked sharp for the most part in that first period, but you know what? Vancouver kept coming, and we talked on the pregame show about Quinn Hughes. They were able to keep Cale Makar under control the other night, but Quinn Hughes had himself a pretty solid period, Rob.
He did. There's certain players that you get excited to watch play because they're special. We got to watch McKinnon and Makar the other night, and McKinnon was fantastic in that game. Quinn Hughes won the Norris Trophy last year, and it was deserved. He was that good last year, and in that first period, you saw why he won the Norris. Every time he was on the ice, the puck was just a magnet to him, and he created and he made plays. And Quinn Hughes is all world. He and Makar are above everyone else. And I know Werenski's having a great year in Columbus, but Makar and Quinn Hughes are the 2 best defensemen in the world. And in that first period, we saw Quinn Hughes at his best.
Canucks power play had not been very good. In fact, through the last 4 games, I think they were 0 for 10, but they're 2 for 2 in this first period. And I think it's fair to say they're full value for the lead, that's for sure. Whether it should be 3-0, whatever, it is what it is. But the Oilers got some work to do here coming up in period number 2.
And they certainly got to stay out of the box. We saw power play for the Canucks. They were freelancing. It was when the Oilers get going on their power play, you see that a lot where players are all over the place, real set positions, and that's what the Canucks did. Quinn Hughes was down below the goal line. He was setting up plays, and then he's shooting from up top, and that's how he scored a goal. So the Oilers got to be better disciplined. The Oilers had a couple good shifts. Demko was good. McDavid had a grade A scoring chance, one-timer. Leon had a really good look. The importance will be the next goal. We talked last game when Arvidsson scored at the end of the first period, gave the Oilers some life. Well, I think the next goal in this hockey game is going to either give the Oilers life or put the game to rest, because you do not want to fall behind 4-0. But at 3-1, you can give the Vancouver Canucks something to think about.
Rob, thanks. We'll talk to you coming up at intermission number 2. Shots on goal that period 17-7, favoring the Canucks, and they lead the Oilers 3-0 after 20 minutes of play. At the intermission is brought to you by End of the Roll Flooring Centers. Let's get flooring. This is your 4 dealers NHL hockey on the Oilers Radio Network.
To the fans who bleed orange and blue, never miss a game, and are always on the edge of their seat. Show your passion for the Oilers and cheer on the team at Molson Canadian Oilers Game Day Live. Attend throughout the season for your chance to win 2025-26 Edmonton Oilers season seats.
Be there for the next Game Day Live event on January 23rd at the Tracks. For the full event schedule and to RSVP, go to OilersGameDayLive.com.
Hey folks, Paul Brandt here. I love being an Albertan and I love Ford trucks. And I know that like hard-working Albertans across this great province, there's a Ford truck for everyone. Like Super Duty. It's what I like to call a workhorse, a truck built for heavy-duty performance and getting the job done. Now that's a truck to live and work by. So whatever you're working on, you'll know that the 2024 Ford Super Duty's got the goods. Get yours today at your Alberta Ford dealer. Just tell them PB sent you.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses, with customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
With Global News, I'm Thomas Dias. As we approach the start of the ceasefire in Gaza between Hamas and Israel, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says the challenges of aid distribution include gangs that are systematically looting the convoys.
It is clear that the situation in Gaza is still extremely complex and a lot of difficulties still remain for an effective distribution.
He says the distribution will be carried out by the UN and its partners, as well as the private sector and other initiatives. Here at home, dozens of protesters gathered outside of the Alberta legislature today in the bitter cold in support of the Palestinian community in Gaza. The rally was organized by MacEwan University students like Noor Salhi.
We continue to fight for the complete liberation of Palestine. A ceasefire for our community is not the end, it's only the beginning.
Organizers say while a ceasefire is a step in the right direction, they're worried it will not last. News on demand at 880ched.com.
Rogers is Canada's largest and most reliable 5G network. We're made for Oilers fans. You can stream Leon scoring in Leduc. Watch Tide tie things up in Tofield. Or check out Connor doing Connor things in Kalmar. And even watch Stewart steal the show while you're in Sedalia. Try saying that 3 times fast. Rogers, proud partner and fan of your Edmonton Oilers.
Experience a game day meal that's second to none. Fanfare with Skip is your all-star lineup of local restaurants this hockey season. Watch Jack Michaels give you the play-by-play on each restaurant's connection to the community and our team. Visit EdmontonOilers.com/skip to watch this month's episode with Amazing Walk Restaurant. Then open your Skip app and tap in an order with exclusive fan access to a deal each game day during the month.
Did somebody say Skip?
Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
You might think it's crazy to put so much of our in-stock flooring on sale during the Big One clearance event, but it's not. Here's why. Even end-of-the-roll flooring centers only have so much room, so we need to clear out what's already here to make room. It's not just a sale, it's our biggest sale. It's why we call it the Big One. We're not crazy. Our prices just make it look that way. The Big One clearance event on now for a limited time at end-of-the-roll flooring centers. Let's get flooring.
12870 St. Albert Trail and now open at 580 Parsons Road, Southwest.
At the intermission, brought to you by End of the Roll Flooring Centers. Let's get flooring.
Bryn Griffiths back in Studio B. Deep breath. Big out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Pizza 73, the official pizza of the Edmonton Oilers. Games that are being played right now. After 2, it's Utah leading St. Louis 4-2. After 1 period of play, 2-2 between Seattle and Los Angeles. Now we get to down to the final scores. It was Philadelphia beating the Devils 3-1. In a shootout, the Ottawa Senators edging the Boston Bruins 6-5. How about the Avalanche bouncing back after losing to the Oilers? They knocked off the Dallas Stars tonight 6-3. Panthers 3-0 winners over the Anaheim Ducks. Rangers in a shootout 1-0 over the Columbus Blue Jackets. Calgary Flames surprised the Jets in Winnipeg 3-1. 3-1. Montreal has got the first 3 goals and then gave up 7. Toronto 7-3 winners tonight over the Habs. Elsewhere, Tampa Bay Lightning 5-1 over Detroit. It was the Washington Capitals beating Pittsburgh 4-1. 3 other games. The Islanders 4-1 winners over the Sharks of San Jose. Predators bounced the Wild 6-2. And it was Las Vegas. The Golden Knights lost 5-3 in Chicago. That's what happened around the NHL. In the American Hockey League, it was a tough night for Bakersfield. They lost 7-3 tonight to the Chicago Wolves. Oil Kings in the Western League, 7-0 winners over the Warriors. And in the NFL, Kansas City beat Houston this afternoon, 23-14. And it's getting late in the fourth quarter. And Washington is looking at perhaps an upset over the Detroit Lions. We'll see how that one shakes down over the next 5 minutes or so. But Detroit's got some work to do. That's the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Pizza 73, the official pizza of the Edmonton Oilers. Period number 2 coming right up at the intermission is brought to you by End of the Roll Flooring Centers. Let's get flooring. This is your 4 dealers NHL hockey on the Oilers Radio Network.
At Sobeys and Safeway Liquor, they recommend pairing locally distilled spirits and their ice-cold beer selection with... And Oilers win! Sobeys and Safeway Liquor, proud partners and fans of the Edmonton Oilers. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hey, hockey fans! Hard rubber works well on the ice rink, but not so good on frozen roads. Arturo tires are engineered with that in mind. Scientifically designed tread patterns, along with resilient rubber compounds, allow Arturo tires to grip well in the cold of winter, while providing excellent traction and long tread life through year-round conditions. Arturo has the all-weather tire for you, available at Action Car and Tire, Point S, and tire shops everywhere. Find a dealer near you at atturo.com.
When it comes to your new home, nothing should stop you from getting exactly what you want. Coventry Homes puts your needs front and center. They won't deke past your questions about customization, and making changes won't get you sent to the penalty box. With their customizable designs and flexible options, your game-changing home is within reach. Score big with flexibility. By Coventry Homes, the official builder of the Edmonton Oilers.
At Sobeys and Safeway Liquor, they recommend pairing locally distilled spirits and their ice-cold beer selection with... And Oilers win! Sobeys and Safeway Liquor, proud partners and fans of the Edmonton Oilers. Please enjoy responsibly.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app. This is the Oilers Radio Network.
Back live at Vancouver's Rogers Arena. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer with you in our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth. Once again, Edmonton finds itself in a hole, this time 3-0. Second consecutive game, and all 3 games this week on the road. 2-0 in Minnesota, 3-0 in Colorado, 3-0 tonight in Vancouver. By the way, they rule that Connor Garland did not get a piece of that first shot from Quinn Hughes. So give Hughes both goals, both on the power play, both set up by JT Miller. And we're underway as Miller wins the faceoff from McDavid at center ice. Sent in from the left-hand side, and we've got an icing call whistled against the Canucks. There was no sign of JT Miller this morning at the pregame skate, as rumors continue to swirl about his pending availability on the trade market. Same can be said at times for Elias Pettersson, although Pettersson's contract a little bit more onerous to move, considering he's at $11.5 million. McDavid lining up against Miller for the defensive zone draw after Vancouver's whistle for icing just 7 seconds in.
Drop the puck, Caleb.
Caleb Apperson, to whom Bob is referring. McDavid won the draw, pounded toward the net by Bouchard, deflected out near the blue line and handled by Connor Garland. But he lost the puck at the red, and it's fired back in by Nugent Hopkins, who begins on a line with McDavid and Hyman. So Chris Knobloch on a regular shift has not gone to the nuclear option just yet, although on 3 separate occasions in that first period they did play together. McDavid and Draisaitl, of course, I'm referring to, the league's top 4 scorers. Hyman belly down, able to keep it alive. Garland stripped McDavid, who then got back into the play and controls on his backhand, only to see his pass deflected out near Ekholm. He'll wind it down low. It's Nugent Hopkins getting it from Hyman, loading and firing, and that ended up wide of the net and grabbed by Vancouver's Garland for a length of the ice clear. Over the head of Bouchard. They won't whistle it for icing, so Skinner will knock it down for Bouchard. A dart up the middle, put Colson laid it off to the onrushing Arvidsson with a backhander kicked aside by Thatcher Demko, who faced first period shots. Here's Tyler Myers up the right-hand side, guiding it safely out to center. Brock gained the line with Jake DeBrusk. He was tripped up and went flying into the end boards and a bit shaken up, and will have a call whistled against Edmonton. This will be Vancouver's third power play of the night, and the Canucks have scored on their first two. DeBrusk shaken up. Looks like he will remain in the game, and this time going to the box will be Darnell Nurse. So another Napa Auto Parts penalty kill, and the Oilers thus far 0 for 2 on the kill tonight. Miller has won the face-off each time, Bob.
Yeah, that's the big part of it. You got a 55% face-off man for Edmonton, 54.5% Henrique. But Miller's a terrific. He's usually around 56% every year.
Miller wins the draw. Pushed back to Quinn Hughes, who has both power play goals tonight for the Canucks. Brown and Kulak out there with Nugent Hopkins and Henrique, and it's Nugent Hopkins who feathers a backhand clear down the middle. That'll be tracked by Pettersson. Had his pocket picked by Henrique. Vancouver able to get on top of the puck as it was waved away by Hughes. Garland will leave it for the Vancouver quarterback on the power play. Already 3-0 for the Canucks. And of course, they're well aware of Edmonton's comeback prosperity. Oilers have rallied when trailing after 20 minutes 8 times this year for victory, second only to Colorado's 9 wins under those circumstances, and Vancouver is offside as Hughes unable to handle a drop pass in the high slot. In fact, they now have a 500 record when trailing after 20 minutes. The Oilers are 8-1. That's in today's NHL. You get off to a lead in the first period. I mean, even let's say winning 2 out of every 5 is considered remarkable.
So no confidence. So Noah Philp getting a shift on the PK here, along with Colson up front.
And off the draw, whistled down the ice by Ekholm, who's out there with Emberson to round out that Napa Auto Parts penalty killing quartet. Hughes had it nudged off his stick by Colson, and another length of the ice clear delivered by Ekholm. Now does Vancouver lose a bit of momentum on this power play? Down to a minute. Here's Garland. In over the line, Besser. Garland will whack it around the boards. Janmark with Pettersson draped all over it. Hughes to Besser, falling down Miller, and here come the Oilers. Flipped up the ice by Brown, short-handed Janmark. He'll be cut off by Hughes, who wrestled the puck away from Janmark and looks to reset. Brown knocked him slightly off balance, and Hughes has to regain his feet, and now weaves his way through Adam Henrique up to the red line and eventually hits the Edmonton zone. Hughes forced to regroup at center, and Henrique just wouldn't let him out of his sights. So a drop pass for Pius Suter, and Hughes will change. Suter to Danton Heinen. Behind the net, Jake DeBrusk. And now out to Philip Roenick. Left point shot. DeBrusk looking to get a tip. He does have 7 power play goals on the season, but that one ended up wide of the net. Suter is on it, and the power play is over as a centering pass inside DeBrusk is kicked wide. Sherwood now with the team's back 5-on-5, looking for DeBrusk down low. One-handed out to Myers, looking for a lane. It's not there. Shadowed by Adam Henrique. Myers will go around the world with it. Saucer it to keeper Sherwood. Looks for a lane and shoots into the glove of Stuart Skinner. With 16-17 to play in the second period, the Oilers are able to withstand the Vancouver power play, and now onto the ice 5-on-5 comes McDavid, Draisaitl, and Zach Hyman.
Well, at some point, the Oilers are going to get a power play here, Jack. But here's how I would explain what we've seen so far tonight. Vancouver is playing like it's their last chance to eat. Okay? And the Oilers are looking like they're a little bit full, and they've been at the buffet for a while. You know,
well, the good news, Vegas has lost for the 4th time in 5 games, beaten in Chicago 5-3. So first place by its lonesome is available for Edmonton, but the Oilers need to rally.
A lot of work to do here for Edmonton.
Even a point will put them in first place by themselves. Dave Tippett's club held first place by themselves back in February of 2020, angled off the boards by the Oilers, and Demko will fall on it. 16:09 to go in the second period. The problem for Edmonton is they fell out of first place and ended up in a play-in round when the pandemic brought the season to a halt 5 days after the Oilers last held a share of first place. And then Chicago, a veteran club, got a good series from their veterans and from rookie Kirby Doc, and ended up winning that series. Here's McDavid off the draw. Centering pass and Nurse denied by Demko. Rebound, Draisaitl scores. And Edmonton's on the board and back in the game. Draisaitl ends a 4-game drought with his 32nd. He now has goals in 8 straight games in this building, and it's game on at Rogers Arena. 3-1 Canucks.
What an opportunity from Connor McDavid. Are they looking? I just want to see where Hyman is here, Jack. Yeah, it's going to be a good goal all the way. But Draisaitl, NHL leader, 32nd goal, and he can finish. We know that about him.
And Draisaitl finishes from near the goal line. And Leon with his 32nd. McDavid and Nurse, I believe, will draw the helpers. Rushing in, Max Sasson for Vancouver tried to center. Deflected away by Ty Emberson and grabbed by Matthias Ekholm. Up the right-hand side for Connor Brown. Leon Draisaitl did not get on the score sheet in his first 8 visits to Rogers Arena. He's now been on the sheet his last 15 times in this building. Set up the left-hand side. Corey Perry cuts it off on the half wall for the Oilers in their own zone. McDavid now has a point in 19 of his last 20 head-to-head against Vancouver. Darnell Nurse will pick up the other assist. So 3-1 as it's rifled in by Ekholm. Draisaitl on the ice once again with McDavid. Vancouver's Jake DeBrusk up the right-hand side, defended by Kulak as he hits the Edmonton line. Puck loose in the corner. Tugged free by Pettersson. Grabbed by Draisaitl on his backhand, and here come the Oilers' top players again. Draisaitl to Troy Stecher. Filling the lane is Hyman. Centering pass redirected by McDavid off his backhand, and that trickled off the pads of Thatcher Demko. Pettersson will angle one up the left-hand side for Besser. Tried to move it up for DeBrusk, who's cut off by Kulak. Lead pass to Draisaitl. Bumped it back for Zach Hyman. Now Draisaitl belted by JT Miller. Much to Bob Stauffer's chagrin, the Oilers will reset. Here's Nurse up to Draisaitl. Gain the line, and now will button hook to the half wall. Left-hand side, he spins again, heading for the net. Elects not to shoot with Tyler Myers in his grill. Now gives it up for McDavid. Edmonton's top line buzzing here. McDavid using a screen. Wired one right to the chest of Thatcher Demko. And the score remains 3-1. 14:06 to go in the second period. And I'm wondering whether we're going to see on a permanent basis for the remainder of this game, Nugent Hopkins slide in between Arvidsson and Podkolzin.
Real hard hit by JT Miller on Leon Draisaitl. Draisaitl later in the shift, he responded the only way he could. It was a woodchopper's ball out there, and he whacked him good. And that should have been a penalty on Leon. He got away with it. But the Oilers, Miller has brought up the physical intensity for Vancouver. Hughes, their best player, has driven their offense, but Miller has won key draws on 2 power play goals, and he's been bringing it. And that's part of the reason why Vancouver's out front by a score 3-1.
Nugent Hopkins between Podkolzin and Arvidsson. McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nurse getting Edmonton on the board. And you wonder whether McDavid and Draisaitl are going to be together for the remainder of this hockey game.
I think that's a good bet here, John.
Nugent Hopkins to Arvidsson. Nurse left point. Centering pass, one time toward the net by Arvidsson, but grabbed by Sherwood. Did not get out of the zone. Held in by Nugent Hopkins. Deflected to the middle of the ice, and Desharnais gets a clear. Lead pass, right wing, Danton Heinen. Cuts to his left and then turned it over. Chopped back toward the net. Heinen gives it up. Waiting is Bluger. Tried to center one extra pass, and Vancouver ends up getting nothing as the pass was tipped and into the waiting arms of Stuart Skinner with 13:40 to go in the second period. Some rough stuff with Bluger getting a half headlock.
Well, Sherwood's always going to be around that. You know that.
And so is Josh Brown. Ultimately, the players pried apart, and we will take a break. 13:40 to go, second period. Vancouver raced out to a 3-0 lead on the back half of the first period. 2 power play goals from Quinn Hughes, but Edmonton's back in the game. Leon Draisaitl, his league-leading 32nd goal of the year, set up by McDavid and Nurse. And Edmonton back in the game. It's 3-1 Canucks, and this is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Calling all hockey parents. Ford of Canada and the Edmonton Oilers want to know how your child's minor hockey team gives back to the community. For a chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime experience with Ford drills and skills to train like a pro at Rogers Place. Open to minor hockey teams with players between the ages of 7 to 13 in Edmonton and area. Register your child's minor hockey team today at FordDrillsAndSkills.ca. Registration closes January 31st.
Did you know the RCMP polices over 99% of Alberta's landscape? From the oil sands to the Rockies to the prairies, the RCMP has a province covered. Providing policing services to more than 1,700 communities and with over 150 career specializations, the Alberta RCMP has something to fit everyone's goals and lifestyles. Visit rcmpcareers.ca and take the next step towards your career with the Alberta RCMP. A message from the Government of Canada.
Proudly headquartered in oil country, Capital Power is delivering reliable and affordable power today while building clean power systems for tomorrow, creating the balanced energy solutions communities across Alberta and North America can depend on. Visit capitalpower.com to learn how they are powering change by changing power. Be part of their energy and join Capital Power as we all cheer on our Edmonton Oilers on their quest to win it all.
All games, all season. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
Tonight's Heroes of Oil Country Mega 50-50, presented by Rogers, supporting veterans and their families through the Homes for Heroes Foundation and Wounded Warriors Canada. And right now that jackpot's sitting at more than $500,000. So please get your Oilers 50-50 tickets at Oilers.com 50-50. Vancouver pours into the offensive zone, leading 3-1 as we approach the midway point of this hockey game. But Besser stripped of the puck by Matthias Janmark. He'll lay it ahead for Connor Brown. Defended by Quinn Hughes down low. Philip Roenick on the puck for the Canucks in the dark uniforms. Traveling left to right in this second period. Turned over by Hughes. Grabbed by Adam Henrique. Brown to Kulak. Across to Stetcher. And he'll wind it down low. Roenick with a lift of the stick, creating an opportunity for DeBrusk and a clear for Brock Besser off the body of Adam Henrique. He'll leave it for Stetcher as we go inside 13 minutes to play in the second period. The Canucks on top 3-1. Quinn Hughes, a pair of power play goals. Leon Draisaitl has extended his NHL lead in the goal scoring department to 5 as he's now up to 32 on the year. It's the only goal of this second period as Edmonton tries to claw its way back from a 3-0 hole. Draisaitl couldn't field a pass from Kulak. Hughes Suter the other way for Vancouver. He'll leave it in the corner for JT Miller. On to Connor Garland. Checked by Ekholm off the puck, and here comes Connor McDavid. In full flight, he'll chip and charge around Soucy, and that's going to be an interference penalty as Soucy got a piece of him and gave Draisaitl a shove for good measure. But this will be interference whistled against Carson Soucy, and Edmonton awarded its first power play of the hockey game at 7:42 of this second period. And the Oiler power play is sitting at 24% on the year, 8th in the league. Vancouver penalty killing has been fairly solid for most of the year at 81%.
Well, now it comes back to face-offs. And they won 2 on their 2 goals. And you take a look at their third power play. The Oilers,
Vancouver.
Yes. And the Oilers did not win first 2 goals at first 2 shorthanded situations. Vancouver took it right to the net. Got to win draws if you're Edmonton. Draisaitl's dropped off on the power play face-offs. He's waved out here. Connor McDavid at 47% coming in.
Against Teddy Bluger. Face off to the right of Thatcher Demko. McDavid won it cleanly. He's won a couple on that side in this zone. Bouchard to Nugent Hopkins. Reversing top of the left circle. Now Bouchard in the high slot. Defended by Bluger, who got his stick on that pass. Deflected away for Tyler Myers. 2-on-1 shorthanded. Myers with Bluger heading for the net. Conservatively just laid it into the corner. And Bluger couldn't even make contact with the puck. So now McDavid's away. And Edmonton with numbers coming the other way, right to left. Hyman lost the handle, however. And it's Pius Suter will chip it past Hyman. Vancouver thought he was held. No penalty was called as it's sent tumbling back into the Canucks, the Oilers zone. Bouchard will leave it for McDavid. He'll hit the line with speed and dish off to Nugent Hopkins, top of the left circle. Now it's McDavid. Bouchard. McDavid, left circle, fires, and that shot blocked by Roenick. The rebound comes to Kiefer Sherwood, and a shorthanded chance for the Canucks. Sherwood across the line, hits the trailer. Forbort fired, and that ticked off the glove of goaltender Stuart Skinner. Forbort, not much of a goal scorer, and that paid off for Edmonton right there. 50 seconds left on the Atco Energy power play, and now we'll have an offside whistled against Edmonton. Coming over the line, and the top unit's going to be sent off here with 51 seconds still left in the man advantage. Atco, your trusted Alberta retailer, with the Oilers trailing 3-1, a neutral zone faceoff forthcoming. And we'll have Adam Henrique out there with Corey Perry, Ekholm, Nurse, and Victor Arvidsson lined up in front of the two player benches, looking for the stretch maybe from Nurse. Indeed, it's delivered to Arvidsson, and he'll snap it around the boards. But Demko, plenty of time for a handoff to Myers. He was not able to drive it past Darnell Nurse, or was he? They're going to whistle a hand pass against Nurse as he kept it in the zone, but with his glove. And as soon as Edmonton touches up, the faceoff comes outside.
Well, Darnell put no heat on the pass across to Arvidsson, and Arvidsson basically had to eat the puck.
For you football fans, Washington is heading to the NFC Championship game with a 45-31 upset of number 1 seed Detroit.
Our old friend Kevin Quinn, long time. He's been a Lions fan his whole life. Sucks for Detroit. It's such a great year. A lot of injuries on the fence, Jack, as you know.
Their last championship came before he was born, the year before, 1957.
Bobby Lane.
Well, Bobby Lane was not the quarterback of that team. He was injured very early in the season. The quarterback was Tobin Roten, wristed down low by Adam Henrique. But yes, that is the Lane era, which actually ended after that season. He moved on to Pittsburgh. And unfortunately for Steeler fans, could not duplicate his success in the Motor City. Here's Henrique giving it up for Perry. Henrique angled off the boards. Perry heading for the net, sliding it off Henrique's skate. Still a power play, remember, which is finally kicked off. Arvidsson tried to flash it in front. That clipped the side of the net. Ekholm with a desperate zone keep against Soucy, and it remains down low for Corey Perry. So now 5-on-5. Perry banks it off the back of the net. Then centers for Ekholm, top of the left circle, looking for a lane. Checked by Bluger, lets it fly, and it was blocked in front and shoveled up the right-hand side by Forbort to Bluger. Ring wide to Soucy, centering pass off target. Wow, Soucy, no touch on that play for Pius Suter. He was all alone in front of Stuart Skinner. Quinn Hughes up to Connor Garland, and it's bumped back into the Edmonton zone. 9.5 minutes to play, second period. The Oilers have gotten one back, but still trail 3-1. Here's a turnover. Garland centering pass, one-timer, and DeBrusk had it blocked by Adam Henrique. That might have saved a goal. Here's Matthias Janmark around Garland, driving down the right-hand side in full flight. Janmark on his backhand, able to fight off traffic and throw a dart behind the net for Brown when he tried to slither it inside for Noah Philp. That was broken up and cleared by Quinn Hughes. Kept alive by Janmark, and Hughes has to reverse to Philip Roenick, who will serve it up to J.T. Miller. And icing will be waved off as Ty Emberson will track it down for Edmonton. Long stretch to Noah Philp. He'll dump it in for Edmonton. Back gather is Roenick. couldn't get it through Phil. They'll put it back down low, and now Garland's on it. Run into by Leon Draisaitl. Out there with Philp and Brown. Niels Höglander on the puck for Vancouver. Down to 3 goals this year. We talked about the 34-game dry spell. The reason I bring it up is he scored 24 a year ago. Finishes his check on Emberson on a dump in, but now it's Troy Stetcher. Too far for Emberson and grabbed instead by Brock Besser. Angled off the boards by Roenick, but turned over. Draisaitl to McDavid. Makes a move around Myers. Centering pass. Intercepted. Brock Besser was in the lane, and the Canucks send it off the left-hand boards back to the Edmonton blue line. Bouchard to Draisaitl. McDavid building steam inside to Hyman, and that pass off target and cleared by Besser. Bouchard tried to bank it off a skate back into the zone. Instead, it's Pettersson on to Besser. Near the end of his shift, he rides Bouchard into the boards. Ekholm looking to escape the pressure from DeBrusk. Ahead for Hyman too far, and that'll turn into an icing call against Edmonton with 7:49 to play in this second period, and Edmonton still on top 3-1.
Zach Hyman's been fighting it, Jack. He's been wearing that bubble, and I have to think that it's affecting his ability to pick up pucks in tight. Just doesn't have the same. He went on a real good hot streak right after not being named to the Canadian Four Nations Cup team. Does have 12 goals and 18 points in the 20 games plus 9 since then. But it's cooled off of late, and he's had lots of chances.
Face-off win for Pius Suter, but the puck trickles outside the zone, and now it's Hughes. He'll give it up to Jake DeBrusk, and now Vinny Desharnais. In from the right-hand side, Ekholm did not get it out of the zone. Skinner rolls it over to Bouchard. Lead pass left wing, and that's out of the range of the intended target for Colson. Driven back in by Desharnais. Ekholm takes a pass from Bouchard. Penalty coming against Vancouver. The hit was up high on Bouchard, and the call is made by Wes McCauley. It'll be another Atco power play for the Edmonton Oilers. And Kiefer Sherwood is unhappy with Evan Bouchard, feeling like perhaps a call was sold there. So 3-1. Our score in favor of the Vancouver Canucks. But when we come back, Edmonton returns to the power play and looks to come within a goal. It's high sticking against Kiefer Sherwood. 3-1 Vancouver at Rogers Arena with 4 dealers NHL hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Did you know that there are 9 Napa Auto Parts stores serving the greater Edmonton area and have been doing so for more than 50 years? Since Napa first opened in Edmonton, the community has grown and vehicles have changed, but you can always trust Napa Auto Parts to provide you with the expert know-how and the best vehicle parts. And if that isn't enough, every time you visit a Napa Auto Parts store when you present your AMA card, you receive an additional 10% discount on all retail parts and accessories. Visit your local Napa Auto Parts store for more offers and expert know-how. Napa Auto Parts is a proud fan of the Edmonton Oilers.
Get ready to live sky high. Sky Signature Suites offers remarkable units for rent, featuring sophisticated floor plans, designer finishes, resort-like amenities, and breathtaking views. Situated in the heart of Ice District, Sky is the address for socializing, dining, entertainment, and fun. A building like no other in a location like no other. Visit SkySignatureSuites.com and make your home high above the ordinary.
Hey, Edmonton, ever think about who gets your hard-earned money when you buy groceries or gas? For all you know, it could be buying a second yacht or private jet. But at Co-op, they put it right back into the community. That's because they're owned by 120,000 everyday Edmontonians, not a corporation. Feel good about where your money goes when you shop Co-op. Visit in store for details.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app. This is the Oilers Radio Network.
Oiler power play, 7:18 to go in the second period. Vancouver led 3-0 after one. Draisaitl has scored here in the second, and now He'll take a face-off to Thatcher Demko's right and win it cleanly back to Evan Bouchard. To the middle of the ice. Bouchard waits, shoots, and that floated. Ended up wide. Deflected Nugent Hopkins. Little give and go with Draisaitl in the left circle. Tried to return it to Leon. Taken away. Tyler Myers trapped in the corner by Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. It's Draisaitl over to McDavid. Fumbled it and then shot it wide.
That's an open net book.
Wow. And that puck appeared to crawl outside the zone. They missed the puck leaving the zone and finally cleared by Myers up the right-hand side.
They're having a rough night.
Here's Bouchard back at his own end. Cuts to his left, and at center ice hits the on-rushing McDavid. Dashes in. Around Heinen, kicks it off to Leon Draisaitl on the right half boards. Here's McDavid to Draisaitl. Couldn't get a shot away. Chance for Vancouver to clear, but Soucy inexplicably just tapped it back to the slot. Here's Nugent Hopkins. Loading, centering, one-timer score. Draisaitl buries his second of the period. Power play goal, Leon Draisaitl. 33rd of the season and 8th on the man advantage. And one wonders what Soucy was thinking. He had two guys there and just tapped it into the high slot, and Edmonton made him pay.
That was a great shot by Leon. I mean, just a really, I don't even know how he got it through, but he did. Game on, John.
He scores every goal from that spot. It's 3-2 as the Oilers have pulled within one.
He does from that side, but that was a little bit tighter.
I don't know what Carson Soucy is doing here. That was an egregious turnover, and Nugent Hopkins slithered it across, and Leon Draisaitl able to finish it off from his office beneath the goal line, and that appeared to go through the breastplate of Thatcher Demko. JT Miller will dump it in. Nugent Hopkins and McDavid with the helpers on Draisaitl's 33rd of the season and second of the night. So the Oilers bang one in on the power play. Canucks charge in left to right off the center ice face-off. Here's Connor Garland. Back behind the net for Pius Suter. Angled off the boards, Hughes. A shot, and that sailed wide. Rebound, Roenick. He fires and misses. They're going to say Bouchard on the second assist. I thought it was McDavid who got it over to Nugent Hopkins. Wound around. Janmark at center ice. Dumped in. And Desharnais will leave it in the corner. Hughes on it for Vancouver. Hits a streaking Jake DeBrusk. Left wing. Fires, and that missed high glove on Stuart Skinner. Rebound Desharnais. DeBrusk. Desharnais took a shot. Blocked by Phil. Then moved it for Forberg. Coming off the left half boards, Brock Besser. Been quiet thus far. Wrister into the glove of Stuart Skinner, who locates and freezes the puck with 5:12 to play in the second period. And indeed, it's game on in Vancouver. Edmonton once down 3-0. Looking to rally from that exact same deficit for a second game in a row. They're within 3-2, and there's 25 minutes left in the hockey game. More second period play-by-play on deck. This is Four Dealers NHL Hockey live from Rogers Arena in Vancouver, BC. The Oilers Radio Network.
Hey, Paul Brandt here. You know what I'm a fan of? Alberta. The wide open spaces, the highways and byways, and a rugged, beautiful terrain that I'm proud to call home. Maybe that's why I'm also a fan of my Ford F-150. It's tough, capable, and smart, which makes it a natural fit for roads like these. So if it's a new truck you're looking for, look no further than the truck Albertans love to drive, F-150. Head into your Alberta Ford dealer and tell them PB sent you.
Tired of skyrocketing energy bills? Switch to clean, affordable power with Horizon Solar. Whether you want to cut costs, go green, or increase your home's value, Horizon Solar has you covered with tailored solar energy solutions. With current government incentives, there's never been a better time to make the switch. Own your power, control your bills, live sustainably. For your free assessment, call Horizon Solar today or visit horizonsolar.com to get started. Horizon Solar, where going green makes sense.
Our people, our team. It's what business owners almost always say is their most important resource. But strong businesses don't just find great people. They make sure their teams stay healthy, engaged, and performing at their best. A benefits plan from Alberta Blue Cross is more than just drug and dental. They support the whole person with flexible coverage levels that fit the size and circumstance of your business. Find a plan that gets results at ab.bluecross.ca.
All games, all season. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
Oilers trailed 3-0 after one. It's now 3-2, 5:12 in the second period. The Oilers' second periods all year long have been a strength. They're the best in the league in the second period. They've outscored their opposition 65-34. Vancouver, an offensive zone faceoff. Besser moves to the Quinn Hughes left circle. Checked by Arvidsson and Kulak. Tried a centering pass to Pettersson. That was broken up. Pettersson and Besser extremely quiet tonight for Vancouver. Thunderous check delivered by Jake DeBrusk in the corner, but the puck is muscled out by Arvidsson, and now you've got Besser looking for DeBrusk. He had changed. Onto the ice comes Pius Suter, and he'll dump it into the corner for Pettersson. Suter able to regain puck possession out to Soucy, who muffed that clear on the penalty kill. Edmonton took advantage. Draisaitl was second of the night to cut it to 3-2. Now it's Suter and Garland trying to keep the puck in the corner. JT Miller flashes behind the net and receives a pass. Miller with 2 first-period assists on the power play goals for Hughes, but here a turnover, and now it's Arvidsson up the right-hand side. He'll dump it in. Miller coming into this game had seen his team outscored 7-1 with him on the ice in the last 4 games. Edmonton steps in prematurely offside with 4:06 to go in this second period. Vancouver 3, Edmonton 2. Now has the mood changed where Vancouver's thinking, hey, we're struggling, and all of a sudden our 3-goal lead looks awfully tight.
100%. Chris Knobloch's going to go to the whip here. Tomorrow's a CBA mandated off day for the Oilers. They
play Tuesday against Washington.
What a game that should be.
Washington won again today. The Caps have not lost in regulation in their last 10 games, and with 4 straight wins, are a league best 31-10-5. Fired in, and Demko will knock it down.
You think Carberry's going to be the coach of the year or what?
No question. And I thought he might have been on that short list last year. Ekholm will shoot it on net. Rick Tocchet won the award, deservedly so, but Carberry getting that team to the playoffs, a minor miracle. Here's Bluger up the left-hand side. They're much better this year. Vancouver very close to too many men, but a good non-call there as no Canuck player touched the puck as it was hovered near the bench area. Carried in by McDavid left wing. Tried to center and then backhanded it in front. That was behind Draisaitl. And here's Kiefer Sherwood. He'll dump it in from center. Stuart Skinner, as he did on Thursday night, gave up 3 in the first. He told me, I'm not giving up a 4th, and let's see what happens. Well, it paid off as his team got 4 unanswered against the Avalanche. Can they do it again tonight in Vancouver? Adam Henrique gets it in deep. The Oilers, Connor Brown down low for Corey Perry, uses a pick from Brown. Out to the point for Nurse. Shot Josh Brown. That sailed wide. Rebound, Sasson. Draped all over Corey Perry. Henrique hovers close by. The puck trickles free, and on it will be Philip Roenick. He's able to turn and wedge it back through center ice. Going to be knocked down by Josh Brown. He gave it away. Sasson reeled in by Brown. A one-timer ripped on net by Di Giuseppe as he was heading off on a change. Save made by Stuart Skinner. The Oilers clear up the left-hand side. Hughes closes quickly on Corey Perry and looks to dance away from Connor Brown. Rifled it off the stick of Nugent Hopkins. Kick back for Brett Kulak in the Oilers zone, and Edmonton reloads. Nugent Hopkins to Emberson. Fires into the middle of the ice. That was deflected off the plexi. Besser angled off by Arvidsson. Nugent Hopkins will try again with a drop-off for Kulak. Up the gut, and at center ice, it was flubbed by Podkolzin. They're not going to give Besser the opportunity to do anything as Besser threw it over the short glass, and the faceoff will come back to the red line with exactly 2 minutes left in the second period, and Vancouver's lead, once 3-0, is down to 3-2.
But you can still see the urgency, Jack. The moment Vancouver gets a chance to put the puck on the net, they do.
Still just 4 shots in the second period. Edmonton's come out and once again played a great second period. Plus 31 in the second this year. But the Oilers, again, -9 or minus 10 now in the first period of this season, and that minus 10 has all come in the last 6 games.
Yeah. Halftime adjustments is up.
Something like that.
Yep.
Lead pass for Brett Kulak from Emberson. Nugent Hopkins to Podkolzin. Dump it in. Forber, run off the puck by Nugent Hopkins. Muscled free. Arvidsson digging in against Heinen, who was shook against the half wall by Podkolzin, and now Nugent Hopkins. Edmonton in search of the equalizer before the break. Oilers managed to do that on Thursday night. They got it even after 40. Arvidsson botched a pass from Podkolzin, admittedly a hard one, and Sherwood knocked him off the puck, allowing Bluger to fling it in deep. Skinner will be the first to play it. He rolls it away from Danton Heinen, on to Brett Kulak, and now Draisaitl dusts it off for Darnell Nurse. Final minute, second period. Edmonton's top line back out there. Draisaitl has scored both goals tonight. Lead pass taken away from Hyman by. He'll reset for Vancouver. Avoid Hyman and Draisaitl up the left-hand side, jammed in by J.T. Miller. Here's Skinner, hard rim, up the boards, Hyman. Center ice, J.T. Miller looks and fires it in deep. Skinner to knock it down. Garland bearing down on it, fires it off the back of Ekholm, and now it's Garland. Tripped up behind the net, Pius Suter gets inside positioning and got it out to Tyler Myers. 20 seconds to go in the period. Rona kept it down low. Bouchard, Suter, McDavid took it away and starts up ice with 15 seconds to go in the period. Draisaitl tried to borrow his way inside. One-timer, Bouchard deflected by Hyman. He had the left side of the net but could not angle it toward the goal. And Connor Garland from center ice will shoot it on net. Skinner makes one final save at the horn and will head to the dressing rooms with a score. Vancouver 3, Edmonton 2.
Right at the end of the period, Connor McDavid may have gotten away with the high stick, Jack.
He did against Roenick. Got the stick right up underneath the chin.
That one, to me, was a more obvious high stick than the call earlier in the game that went against the Edmonton Oilers, Matthias Ekholm.
But he the guy in the face with the stick, you mean?
This one he got him too.
Yeah. That one, to me, is that underneath the chin? I'm not sure it got all the way up there.
It didn't get all the way up there, but
I'm not sure it got all the way up there. That was close.
The Russian judge is going to be sitting here giving it. No, it was the French judge in support of the Russians. Game on here. I mean, the Oilers have not had their best, certainly in the first period. They've been a real good team in the second period. They got to keep grinding. They've gone to the whip here with McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman.
Still only 12 shots against Thatcher Demko.
Yeah, not enough.
I mean, this is a club that gets outshot by a healthy margin every game.
And the Oilers have the most shots on goal per game this season, except tonight. And that, I think, look, Vancouver's been the better team through 40 minutes. The Oilers have. Here's what did Ray Ferraro say to us? He said, Bob, Vancouver's got an A game and they got a D game. They don't have a B and C game. We've seen the Oilers win games with a B and C game. And tonight, if they're going to win, it's.
I'm not even sure I'd call this a B game. This is a C game.
This is a C game.
Yeah, this is not a B/C game.
And believe me, Jack, I would know C as a score a lot. That's all I'm going to say. You know, the very few. I also know W for withdrawals. But the bottom line here is it's there for Edmonton to go get in the third period. Should be highly entertaining.
Vancouver 3, Edmonton 2. Bob feeling a lot more diplomatic than he was after the first period.
I wasn't.
The Canucks all of a sudden are the better team through 40 minutes. We didn't hear any of that after the first.
The Oilers got dominated in the first. What? Were you not listening or what? Come on.
Well, I mostly heard some shots taken at the third team on the ice.
They didn't have a great first period, and you know what?
The Oilers got 2 second period power plays. Vancouver got none. They bounced back with a much better second period.
Did I not say that the marbles would even up?
3-2 Vancouver as the Leon Draisaitl brigade continues. He has had some kind of success against the Vancouver Vancouver Canucks 13 goals in a 15-game streak here in Vancouver, BC. His 2 goals have put Edmonton decidedly back in this game. Vancouver 3, Edmonton 2, 20 minutes to decide it. Can the Oilers win for a third consecutive time when trailing by at least 2 goals? Tonight they were down 3-0. Vancouver's lead has been whittled down to 3-2. Bryn and Rob are next. This is Four Dealers NHL Hockey, live from Vancouver's Rogers Arena, the Oilers Radio Network.
Over the last decade, the world of work has changed dramatically. It's a change that can cause a disconnect between a company and its employees. But a partnership with Aon can help by making decisions that create a more flexible, engaged, and resilient workforce. Aon's experience and expertise, global understanding, and advanced analytics ensure that every client is better informed and better advised so that they can make better decisions. Whatever the next decade brings, Aon is in the business of better decisions.
Stay connected with your community and enjoy the latest updates and exclusive access to concerts and events by becoming an 880 CHED Insider. Don't miss out on a single moment. Sign up now at 880ched.com and click on CHED Insider Newsletter to become a vital part of Edmonton's premier news and talk community. 880 CHED, Edmonton's news, today's talk, where Edmonton stays informed and entertained today and every day. The intermission, brought to you by Hand of the Roll Flooring Centers. Let's get flooring.
Here's Nugent Hopkins, loading, centering, one-timer score. Draisaitl buries his second of the period. Power play goal, Leon Draisaitl, 33rd of the season, and 8th on the man advantage. And one wonders what Soucy was thinking. He had 2 guys there and just tapped it into the high slot, and Edmonton made him pay.
Interesting. That's our highlight zone, brought to you by Century Casinos. All in, all games, all season. Century Casinos with 3 great locations in Edmonton, in St. Albert, and at the Edmonton International Airport. Welcome to the Winter Zone. Welcome to the second intermission. Oilers now trailing 3-2 in this game. Oilers out shooting Vancouver 5-4. That's it. And it was 20-12 overall for the Canucks through 40 minutes of play. Rob Brown's joining me. I'm Bryn Griffiths. We're at Studio B. Well, Brownie, it's here we go. Here we go again, I guess.
Well, we talked after one that the importance of the next goal. 4-0 is probably insurmountable. 3-1 is doable. And the Oilers loaded up their top line and were able to find the goal. And a big mistakes by the Vancouver Canucks. A, not clearing the front of their net, and B, taking a couple needless, careless penalties in that period. Now, having said that, Canucks still played pretty good in that period. They only gave up 5 shots. That's good. But they gave up a couple high-quality grade A chances. Now there's nerves. Now that's everything that has gone wrong over the last month and a half is now playing in the back of your mind. And you're like, okay, we had a 3-0 lead. Everything's going our way. How are we just holding on to this lead? So the Oilers will have a push to start the third period. I imagine you're going to see a lot of Connor and Leon. And Stuart Skinner's going to have to come up with 1 or 2 saves in this period. If he does that, the Oilers can come all the way back. The Canucks also, Bryn, wasted some glorious chances. They had a couple 2-on-1s. They had a breakaway. They made a bad pass on and missed Suter, who was wide open. You don't get many of those opportunities to waste them. You're allowing the Edmonton Oilers to come back. And I think that's what happened in the second period.
Just got a text from a very good friend of mine I went to high school with. He's at the game tonight. He said, it's gone a tad tense here in the building. Yeah, I can imagine.
It would be, because this is a Canuck team where nothing has gone good for them in a while. And it's been a soap opera. And the only thing that could add to their misery would be losing to an Oiler team that you had a 3-0 lead on and you were dominating. So I would expect the Canucks to have their best period of the last month or 2 coming up, but I also expect the Oilers to. I think they smell blood. They feel this could be a game that really demoralizes a Canuck team and pushes them further away from where the Oilers are, and that's in the playoffs.
Leon Draisaitl with his 32nd and 33rd of the season. The first one came right after a kill, and we've seen that a few times before, but the second one was a sharp angle shot on the power play to make it 3-2 Vancouver at that point. Leon's now recorded at least a point in each of his last 15 games at Rogers Arena. But you know what? I thought Vancouver came back with a couple of great pushback shifts after that power play goal to maybe take a little bit of the momentum away, Rob.
Yeah, they did. They just couldn't capitalize. They had a shorthanded 3-on-2 that ended up being Forber by himself in front of that. He missed the net. Then they had the opportunity where there was a big mental mistake made by the Oilers, and P.S. Suter was by himself. He was by himself for a long time, and they couldn't get it past him. He could have had a breakaway where he stopped in front of the net for 3 or 4 seconds. That's how open he was, and the Canucks missed that opportunity. So the Oilers dodged some bullets. The Canucks gave up some grade A scoring chances, and in a game that looked out of hand, as we've seen a few times in the last 2 weeks with the Oilers, now is well within their reach as we go to the final 20.
Normally at this point, I would ask you, what would Chris Knobloch say to the Oilers? But I'm going to reverse it. If you're Rick Tocchet, what do you say to your troops right now who had a 3-0 lead? It's now down to 3-2. You know how things have gone for them. Does he say anything?
Yeah, he'll be in there. He'll talk about having belief in themselves. He'll talk about the fact, here's a moment for us, a big moment for us as a team. Have the confidence to go out there, have the leadership, believe in yourself. And he'll also say, hey, stay out of the penalty box. Because the 2 penalties they took were needless. Just like the Oilers in the first period, a couple of needless penalties.
Oh, yeah.
The Canucks took them in the second period. So the Oilers power play was moving the puck around really well in that second power play they had. The Canucks cannot afford to give the Oilers another chance 5-on-4.
Vegas lost in Chicago 5-3 tonight, and the LA Kings right now are trailing Seattle after 2 periods of play. So golden opportunity if the Oilers can find a way to climb back into this. We'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up in a bit. Rob, we'll talk to you coming up on the post-game show. Looking forward to it.
Sounds good.
We'll take a break right now. It's At the Intermission, brought to you by End of the Roll Flooring Centers. Let's get flooring. This is your Ford Dealers NHL Hockey on the Oilers Radio Network.
Oil Country, you never miss an Oilers game. Join your fellow fans at Molson Canadian Oil Country headquarter locations every game day. Visit oilcountryhq.com to find out where you can enjoy the game next with a pint of Molson Canadian, the official beer sponsor of the Edmonton Oilers.
Bloom Benefits offers amazing coverage that even the toughest hockey players get on. With excellent coverage, they offer things like massage. You want to go? Counseling services. Let's go. Dental coverage. That was not offside. And eye exams. With custom health coverage for any group of any size, Bloom Benefits make every team better, stronger, and healthier. Plans start from just $54 a month. Rethink your benefits today at bloombenefits.ca.
From your home to the ice rink, ATCO Energy is there. As the official energy provider of Rogers Place, we're also proud partners of the Edmonton Oilers. ATCO Energy, powering your place.
The list also includes former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland and former Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney, who grew up here in Edmonton. And the Canadian Food Inspection Agency has issued a recall due to a possible salmonella contamination of certain brands of eggs sold in BC, Manitoba, Ontario, and other possible provinces and territories. The agency says the recall covers Compliments, Foremost, Golden Valley eggs, along with IGA, No Name, and Western Family eggs. News on demand at 880ched.com.
Score big with the unmatched purity of Clearwater Vodka, the perfect companion for Oilers fans. Crafted with the pristine waters of Alberta, it's a sip of local excellence. Clearwater Vodka, where the spirit of the game meets true Alberta quality. Must be 18 plus. Please drink responsibly. Chemco is more than just a trusted local name. Chemco has been building industry across Canada for more than 60 years. From engineering through to commissioning, construction, maintenance, and beyond, Chemco's multidiscipline approach stands firmly on the belief that Chemco cares. It's not just what they do, it's how they do it. Visit Chemco.com and discover how they can support your project today. Chemco, proud fans of the Edmonton Oilers, serving and supporting communities across Canada for over 60 years.
It's game on at City Ford.
With an all-star lineup of 2024 Ford favorites. Save up to $5,000 on escapes.
Up to $9,000 on Bronco Sports.
And up to $19,000 on F-150s.
Plus, take advantage of 0% financing options available on select models.
Spin the wheel and win an iPad, Oilers merch, Costco card, even a trip to Vegas.
Visit City Ford on the St. Albert Trail.
Score big with the unmatched purity of Clearwater Vodka, the perfect companion for Oilers fans. Crafted with the pristine waters of Alberta, it's a sip of local excellence. Clearwater Vodka, where the spirit of the game meets true Alberta quality. Must be 18 plus. Please drink responsibly.
At the intermission, brought to you by End of the Roll Flooring Centers. Let's get flooring.
Fred Griffiths back in Studio B in Edmonton. Time to take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Pizza 73, the official pizza of the Edmonton Oilers. Hockey Day in Canada, 15 games. Only 2 teams not participating today. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. Other than the one we're watching tonight, right now, the Canucks with a 3-2 lead on the Oilers after 40 minutes of play. It is the Seattle Krakens at the end of the second period leading the Los Angeles Kings 3-2. Final scores, Philadelphia 3-1 over the New Jersey Devils. The Ottawa Senators in a shootout, edging Boston 6-5. Dallas Stars got doubled up by the Colorado Avalanche 6-3. Florida Panthers blanking the Anaheim Ducks 3-0. Another shootout victory, this one for the Rangers, 1-0 over the Columbus Blue Jackets. Montreal scored the first 3, and then Toronto scored the last 7 in a 7-3 victory over the Habs. How about the Calgary Flames, 3-1 winners tonight over the Jets in Winnipeg. It was the Tampa Bay Lightning bouncing the Red Wings 5-1. Washington got by the Penguins 4-1. New York Islanders also 4-1 winners, but this one over the San Jose Sharks. And just a few other games. It was Utah doubling up on St. Louis 4-2, and Nashville beat the Wild 6-2. The other game we've been watching is the fact the Chicago Blackhawks knocked off the Vegas Golden Knights 5-3. In the American Hockey League, it was Bakersfield on the road in Chicago, but the Wolves prevailed with a 7-3 victory. And in the Western Hockey League, it was all Edmonton Oil Kings over the Moose Jaw Warriors in Saskatchewan tonight, 7-0. NFL action today, playoffs. Earlier this afternoon, Houston Texans visited the Chiefs in Kansas City, and it was the Chiefs prevailing 23-14. And just a few minutes ago, it wrapped up a shocker. Washington surprising the number 1 seed, the Detroit Lions, 45-31. That's a bit of a shocker. Okay, now I can rest a little bit. That's your out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Pizza 73, the official pizza of the Edmonton Oilers. Oilers trailing 3-2. We're about ready to get going into the third period, so stay tuned for that. At the intermission is brought to you by End of the Roll Flooring Centers. Let's get flooring. This is your Ford Dealers NHL Hockey on the Oilers Radio Network.
At the intermission has been brought to you by End of the Roll Flooring Centers. Let's get flooring.
The Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation 50-50, presented by Rogers, is back and bigger than ever. The largest 50-50 in sports offers early bird draws, bonus raffles, and a main jackpot, which is growing by the second. With over $100 million invested across oil country, your support directly helps kids, families, and communities in need. Maybe you'll be our next winner. Get your tickets right now at EdmontonOilers.com and help make oil country a better place.
AGLC license number 696879.
Hockey season is back. And so are the deals at Boston Pizza. Cheer on your team while ordering off their game day menu, or come in and see what great promotions they have going on. At Boston Pizza, they always have something craveable for you to enjoy. Boston Pizza, proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Cheers to a great hockey season. Hey, hockey fans, hard rubber works well on the ice rink, but not so good on frozen roads. Aturo tires are engineered with that in mind. Scientifically designed tread patterns, along with resilient rubber compounds, allow Aturo tires to grip well in the cold of winter, while providing excellent traction and long tread life through year-round conditions. Aturo has the all-weather tire for you, available at Action Car and Tire, Point S, and tire shops everywhere. Find a dealer near you at atturo.com.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app. This is the Oilers Radio Network.
Back
back at our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth. Jack Michaels and Bob Stauffer with you live from Rogers Arena in Vancouver. And sure enough, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman to start the third period with Bouchard and Ekholm defensively. Stuart Skinner touched for 3 goals in the first period. But since then, he's locked it down. In fact, Edmonton permitted Vancouver just 5 second-period shots. Then again, the Oilers only had 5 shots in the second period. So they've gotten 2 on 12 against Demko, 2 on 21 at the other end for Vancouver. JT Miller to take the face-off against Connor McDavid. And the question begs itself, Bob, can they do it again? Can they find a way? Off the draw, McDavid to Leon Draisaitl. Edmonton in search of the equalizer. Trailed 3-0 after the first. McDavid, one-timer to save made. Go first on Ekholm and then Hyman point blank. Oilers rallied 3-0 down in Denver the other night. Beat the Avalanche 4-3. Here's Bouchard. Up the right-hand side for Zach Hyman. 6 times this year, Vancouver has lost a game when leading after 2 periods. Kulak to McDavid. Feathered in front. Looking for Hyman. That one off his skate, and Garland manages a clear. Meanwhile, the Oilers this year, 4-9 when trailing after 2. And I know what you're thinking. That puck is eating up Zach Hyman tonight.
I just think it's
the bubble.
The bubble.
Here's Arvidsson at center. Elias Pettersson left wing. Puts the brakes on. Waits. Feeds Carson Soucy, who gets a shot and fires it. Ooh, and that's a painful block. Who was felled by that? Arvidsson.
He can't even get off.
And indeed, Arvidsson with Vancouver rushing back through the neutral zone, unable to rise. And now finally on his feet. He'll labor to kind of stay in this game, but a painful block on that rocket from Soucy.
I don't think he's putting any pressure on it. My guess is that he had his shin pad turned. That got him in an unprotected spot.
Now, sometimes your leg can also be deadened a bit, and the nerves, kind of unable. It looks like he's going to be able to shake this one off. Sometimes you get the dead leg going right when you get hit. And Arvidsson, I think, is going to grind this one out. He did not go underneath. Face-off, meanwhile, to Skinner's right-hand side.
A little bit of a change of the lines here.
Right now, you've got Henrique out there with Perry and Brown. Teddy Bluger on the face-off, guided back. Derek Forbert. Down low in the corner for Kiefer Sherwood. Oilers won the first of 3 regular season matchups between these two 7-3 2 months ago in Vancouver. And the rematch and the final meeting of this regular season will be on Thursday at Rogers Place. A block shot, hard rim. Perry picked it off. Henrique inside to Brown, and that misfired.
My guess is they want Janmark's speed out with Phil. And, when he's out there on the ice, they're basically playing a forward short here.
Well, they are. 11 forward, 7 defensemen tonight. Chipped up the right-hand side. Troy Stetcher knocks it down. One thing you get, of course, with 11 forwards is often some newfangled combinations, especially with McDavid and Draisaitl motoring through, sometimes getting double shifted. G. Giuseppe in on the forecheck. Noah Philp looks to carry it out. Guides one back through center. Jeff Skinner and Derek Ryan, along with Kasperi Kapanen, all 3 healthy scratches tonight for the Oilers. Here's Phil. Checked by Quinn Hughes, down low in the offensive zone. Muscles it out to Emberson. But Colson takes a peek, fires one across. Laid off by Stetcher, shot Emberson, whose only NHL goal came against the Canucks. He's got 1 goal in 73 games, and it came against the Canucks back in late November of 2023.
And as you know, he had a 7-goal, 30-plus point season in the minors the year before Chris Knobloch and Hartford.
Charging in from the right-hand side is Leon Draisaitl, weaving his way toward the goal on his backhand, protecting. Here's a drop-off to Ekholm, who whistled one wide. McDavid and Hyman out there. Bouchard behind Draisaitl with that pass, threw off the timing. Garland able to pluck it off the boards, but he put too much on it, and it's an unforced error and an icing call whistled against Vancouver. With 16:48 left in the third period, Edmonton's deficit remains 3-2, and another O-zone draw for Edmonton's top five.
And I do see the Oilers bridging Ty Emberson, and I think in time you might see him grow a little bit offensively, sort of similar to the trajectory that Brett Kulak's career has had.
I wasn't necessarily pointing out the dry spell, just pointing out his only goal was against Vancouver.
Yeah, but I think we both agree there might be a little bit more offense there.
Miller wins the face-off. Susie nudges up the left-hand side. His confidence has been growing ever since they put him over the boards. First pair on the PK with Matthias Ekholm. That was a cagey move by Mark Stewart, and it's really elevated Emberson's confidence level and ultimately his compete and general NHL level. He's really blossomed under that tutelage. Here's Ekholm reversing in his own end, looking for Bouchard. He'll gain the line. McDavid and Draisaitl still out there. Hyman a shot along the ice and an easy save made by Thatcher Demko. Susie carefully up to Tyler Myers, angled ahead for Brock Besser. But that puck was lodged in his feet. Bouchard misfired on a lead pass. Hyman clearly had a stride on Forbert, and they missed a call there. That should not be icing against Edmonton. I mean, Hyman was a full stride and a half ahead of Derek Forbert. And they're not conferring, so they're going to drop this puck back in the Edmonton zone. Usually in an obvious situation like that where they miss it, they'll confer and drop the puck at center. But
so McDavid's sitting here at a 53-second shift right now, Jack.
Well, that's chump change for him. But a minute 53, maybe.
D-zone draw.
You know him, the inexhaustible tank. Pedersen against McDavid. And McDavid pulled it back for Evan Bouchard. McDavid isn't looking to change as Bouchard lofts it ahead. Grab by Hughes. McDavid, some contact there. Hughes went down. No penalty was called. Crowd thought there should have been a trip. Not much contact, quite frankly. Arvidsson, indeed, back on the ice for Edmonton. His shot blocked, and Roenick's going to be whistled for an icing call. We have seen some inconsistencies throughout this game with respect to icing and a few other
high sticking. I mean, the Oilers, you can make an argument maybe Connor should have got a penalty late in the second. You're a Vancouver partisan. You're saying the stick was in there and Hughes when he button hooked in the third here.
So now, face off to Demko's right-hand side. Nugent Hopkins put Colson and Arvidsson the line sent over the boards, and a face-off win for the Canucks. The puck juggled by Besser and returned to Quinn Hughes. He's going to regroup against Put Colson, his one-time teammate in Vancouver. Besser will snap it in. He was at center. Nurse up the boards, not out. Roenick tapped it back down low. Put Colson on it for the Oilers. Nugent Hopkins crowded by Sherwood. He was belted. That puck shaken free. Bluger looking to finish his check on Kulak. He reverses over to Nurse. Sherwood burrowed his way in. Nurse is on top of him. The puck squirts free, and now Arvidsson will carry it out for Edmonton on Kulak, and he'll shoot it in. Demko has the puck hop over his stick. Now it's Philip Roenick. Looked up ice, sent one up the right-hand side. Heinen couldn't get on that puck. Looked like it crawled across the blue line. Kyle Murchison says no, doesn't matter, as the Oilers will just trade the puck in their own end. But like I said, there was one play like that in the second period where it was ruled to have not exited the zone when it was obvious it had. Here's Forbert off an Edmonton dump in, able to backhand one up to Niels Höglander. Tried to give it up right-hand side. Excellent backtrack by Adam Henrique as he picked it off. The intended target was Max Sasson. Henrique at center ice shovels ahead for Connor Brown. He'll float one across to Bouchard as once again Perry with Henrique and Brown in this alignment. Josh Brown, meanwhile, the pairing with Evan Bouchard. Two righties on the ice. He'll trade and be replaced by Matthias Ekholm. 6 minutes having elapsed here in the third period. Vancouver 3, Edmonton 2. Draisaitl both goals for the Oilers. McDavid jitterbugging his way as far as the Vancouver line. Taken off his stick. Susie ahead to Connor Garland. He'll dump it in. Ekholm to Bouchard. And now Draisaitl building ahead of steam as he Moves his way through the neutral zone. Button hooks, hits Ekholm. Now McDavid, open left circle, cross ice. And that was tipped away by Garland. I thought McDavid had a path toward the net there.
So do I.
13:30 to play, third period. Vancouver led 3-0 after one. Hughes a pair of power play goals. Draisaitl with a pair of second period goals. One of the power play, one at even strength to bring Edmonton within one. Draisaitl against Pettersson. Offensive zone for Vancouver. Pettersson snatched it back from McDavid. Played it down low for Brock Besser. He rolls off traffic. Left point shot forward. Tipped by Pettersson. Blocked by Ekholm. Pettersson back on the puck for Vancouver. Out to Forberg. He shoots, and that was missed by Besser. That was kind of a slap pass more than anything else. Pettersson to the point. Mishandled by Desharnais. He's able to get on the puck with McDavid bearing down on him. Now Jake DeBrusk back into the offensive zone for Brock Besser. He waits and backhands it down low. DeBrusk in against Ekholm. He'll reverse up the right-hand side. Arvidsson through to Noah Phil. Cuts left on first, Bluger, and then Sherwood. Heinen comes over to close on him, and Desharnais will carefully send the puck over to Derek Forbert in the Vancouver zone. Lead pass, Bluger. Advance through to Sherwood. He'll tap it in and move in on the forecheck against Darnell Nurse. Heinen centering pass, and Bluger must a wrist shot. Phil had defensive zone coverage and might have interfered with that ability. Here's Matthias Janmark up through center. He'll wrist it down deep. Arvidsson first on the puck for Edmonton. Checked by Roenick. He rolls off that pressure and stays with it. Four-player pile up in the far left corner of the offensive zone for Edmonton as we dip inside. 12 minutes to play in the third period. Puck shaken free to Nurse. His shot sails wide. Rebound to Quinn Hughes. Off the left-hand glass. It's Dan Heinen on the puck for Vancouver. Just one win in its last 7 games for Vancouver. Hughes to the net short side. And that clipped the side of the goal. And the rebound, Sherwood gets back on top of it for Vancouver. Canucks will change. Max Sasson protecting in the left corner. Checked off by Nugent Hopkins. Kicked it free and then stolen by Höglander. Rolled toward the net. And Höglander unable to stuff it in against Stuart Skinner. The puck rolls behind the net. Nugent Hopkins to Podkolzin. Under duress in the form of Phil DiGiuseppe. Shaking off a check is Brett Kulak. He's on his backhand as he brings it out of the zone. Lead pass for Podkolzin. Stolen away by DiGiuseppe. Heading for the Edmonton net. Protecting on his backhand. Looking for a teammate. Leaves it in the corner for Höglander. Against Kulak. And now Sasson. Höglander fires it cross ice. Shot Desharnais. Missed badly. Rebound off the boards. Forberg. Down low to Höglander. Skinner looking. Here's a dish to Desharnais. Good friends with Stuart Skinner. Back to DiGiuseppe. His shot tipped. Hacked at by Miller. And a save made. Stuart Skinner with 10:39 to play in the third period. Vancouver not permitting Edmonton many chances. Just 2 third-period shots in 9.5 minutes for the Oilers. But the Canucks lead remains a paltry 3-2. It was once 3-0. Can Edmonton summon another third-period comeback? We'll come back with more live play-by-play from Rogers Arena in Vancouver, BC. The Canucks 3, the Oilers 2. This is 4 Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Looking for custom flags, banners, or canopy tents? Aurora Flags and Banners has a dedicated team to provide you with custom solutions and quality products. Aurora Flags has proudly serviced Canadian businesses and organizations for more than 30 years. Get a quote today at auroraflags.com.
Hey, Paul Brandt here. As a musician, I'm drawn to the sounds of this great province. Whether it's the wind blowing down the Rockies, the rustling of grass across the prairie, or the sweet sound of a Ford Super Duty, it's all music to my ears. Speaking of Super Duty, with heavy-duty performance that's built for getting the job done right, it's no wonder this truck has Albertans singing its praises. The 2024 Ford Super Duty is available now at your Alberta Ford dealer. Just head on in today and tell them PV sent you.
For years now, we've been warning Edmontonians on the hazards of our stormwater facilities. While they may appear to look like still ponds, there is moving water beneath the surface, which makes the ice dangerously... The unpredictability of stormwater facilities makes them treacherously unsafe for all winter activities, even walking. So think twice. Don't go on the ice. A safety message from EPCOR.
Looking for custom flags, banners, or canopy tents? Aurora Flags and Banners has a dedicated team to provide you with custom solutions and quality products. Aurora Flags has proudly serviced Canadian businesses and organizations for more than 30 years. Get a quote today at auroraflags.com.
All games, all season. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
3-2 hockey game for Vancouver as Edmonton looks to become the 10th team in the history of the league to record 3 consecutive multi-goal comeback victories. Beat Minnesota on Wednesday night, trailed 2-0, won it 5-3. Beat Colorado Thursday night, 4-3, trailed the game 3-0 at one point. Here's Ekholm digging it out of the corner. Vancouver led 3-0 after one. Draisaitl scored twice in the second period. It's 3-2 with 10 minutes to play. McDavid hit the Vancouver line, relieved of the puck. Golfed in by Ekholm. Draisaitl token pressure on Soucy. Over to Tyler Myers, and the jittery Canucks get it out, but Soucy put too much on that. Skinner elected to play it. Might have been icing as that was heading toward the side of the net. Instead, it's Bouchard to Nugent-Hopkins streaking through the middle. Arvidsson in close quarters with Quinn Hughes, who scored twice in the first period on the power play for Vancouver. Steal Darnell Nurse. Behind the net, Nugent-Hopkins. Arvidsson right corner. Edmonton pressing for the equalizer here. Nugent-Hopkins served it up. Nurse left point. Not much on that pass, but down low it's grabbed by Arvidsson. He's pestered. Put it back down in the corner and put Colson protecting. Chipped it over to Nugent-Hopkins. Served it up for Brett Kulak. Across to Darnell Nurse. High slot. Arvidsson pounds one toward the net. Going to have it deflected wide. 9:20 remaining in regulation. It's Vancouver 3, Edmonton 2. Canucks carve the puck out of the corner. Here's Brock Besser. Shoveled ahead. Pedersen let it go through to DeBrusk. He'll pop it in and get jackknifed into the bench by Darnell Nurse. Kulak, a reset for Edmonton as we go inside 9 minutes left in the third. McDavid back on the ice with Leon Draisaitl. Here's the outlet from Kulak to Draisaitl. He'll lug it through the neutral zone with Hyman on his right. Eventually knocked off his stick, and Edmonton must regroup.
They're just playing a static, basically a 1-3-1 here. This is looking a bit like how LA plays in the neutral zone, Jack, right now.
Lead pass for Ekholm. Moves in against Tyler Myers. Puts the brakes on. Myers checked him off the puck. Hyman there with support. He'll swing it around the boards for Bouchard. Left alone on the right half wall. Bouchard scored the game winner against Colorado. It was just his second goal in 23 games. 11th career game winner. Draisaitl stripped by Heinen. Banged in by Connor Garland. Stuart Skinner will clear up the left-hand side. Draisaitl changes. McDavid still out there. A quartet of Canuck defenders roll at him. And when McDavid kicked it back to the point, Stetcher had not yet gotten there. So the Oilers have to fall back.
Jack, how many shots the Oilers have in the third period here?
They got 2. 2 shots in 12 minutes and only 14 for the game against a team that routinely gets outshot. Adam Henrique pumps it up the left-hand side. Back to collect is Derek Forbert. He'll leave it for Brock Besser. Saucered ahead. Pedersen able to collect against Emberson. Vancouver, having lost its 2 prior games, 6-1 and 5-1, digging in against Edmonton. Here's Forbert. Up the left-hand side, Pedersen turns and clears back through center. Höglander inadvertently put it back into his own zone, but the Oilers weren't ready. Had it tagged back up, so Henrique lays it off to Stetcher, and it's a regroup for Brett Kulak. And Edmonton has been bogged down a ton in this rather clogged third period.
Can't penetrate, get up the ice here.
Kulak and Colson trade. Now up the middle for Nurse. Brushed off the stick. Höglander races back into the offensive zone. He's checked off by Noah Philp. DiGiuseppe unable to free it up. Nurse the stretch. Too far on net. Thatcher Demko elects to hand off to Quinn Hughes. He'll jam it off the boards back through center. Demko in his 6th full season in the National Hockey League. Looking to get back on track. Came in with just 2 wins in 8 games and a save percentage of 87. DiGiuseppe put it back behind the net. As Bob has indicated, Edmonton not enough pressure on Demko tonight. Credited with just 15 shots. Roenick takes a pass from JT Miller, and he Hughes will just melt some clock in their own end. As Nugent Hopkins has come on with Arvidsson and Corey Perry. Gaining the line is Heinen. Off to Kiefer Sherwood. Tried to give it back to Heinen. That was off the mark. Heinen left it in the corner. Nugent Hopkins on it. The puck shaken free. Sherwood on his back. Doubles it out. Desharnais. Across to Derek Forbert. A shot, and that was blocked by Perry and immediately cleared off the boards and out. Desharnais ahead of Arvidsson. Sent it over. Sherwood slams it back in for Vancouver. And all of a sudden, we've got 5:45 left in the game. Lots of time, but Edmonton has not been able to sustain any sort of attack. And an unforced error by Bouchard will lead to an icing call.
You worry about...
He just flung it up the right-hand side, Bob, and that's an easy call for the officials to make.
That's a sign of fatigue is what that is.
Well, they're at the end of a stretch of 9 games in 8 different cities and 4 different time zones covering 15 days.
Yeah, and sometimes it's too hard to keep chasing.
Well,
and Vancouver's done. They've bottled things up.
There's still 5.5 to play. Draisaitl and McDavid back out there. Off the face-off, lost by Draisaitl. Here's Connor Garland. Draisaitl checked him against the end boards. A drive by Soucy. There was traffic in front in the form of JT Miller. He was down on all fours. Edmonton came up with a rebound. Bouchard and McDavid lost it at center, and Suter twisted it back inside the Edmonton line as Vancouver stacks its own blue line. McDavid will jump in against Carson Soucy. Twist it back for Bouchard. Pressure from Garland forces a turnover. Pius Suter weaving his way through the neutral zone. And eventually shooting has it deflected over the net. Draisaitl looks on and now looks to change. The shifts are getting shorter and shorter for Draisaitl and McDavid. Here's Pettersson in on the forecheck against Ekholm. Won a battle. Kept it alive for Brock Besser. Guided out to Quinn Hughes. Across to Philip Hronek. His shot gloved by Skinner. And we got a penalty coming. Cross-checking. Time of the penalty, 15-20, third period. And Vancouver will be awarded a 4th power play tonight. Ekholm to the box. Canucks 3, Oilers 2. Vancouver looking for insurance on the power play. When we come back to Rogers Arena, this is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Believing in yourself takes confidence. At Portage College, 93% of grads say their education gave them the skills and knowledge they needed for their careers. That's the kind of confidence that leads to great results. Learn more at portagecollege.ca.
Hey, Edmonton. Ever think about who gets your hard-earned money when you buy groceries or gas? For all you know, it could be buying a second yacht or private jet. But at Co-op, they put it right back into the community. That's because they're owned by 120,000 everyday Edmontonians, not a corporation. Feel good about where your money goes when you shop Co-op. Visit in-store for details.
When was the last time your electricity and natural gas provider made you feel like this? Low rates, no strings attached, year-round perks, and local energy experts who always have your back with Encore by Epcor. Find that carefree energy feeling at encore.epcor.com/carefree.
Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822 toll-free.
Portage College graduates are incredibly employable. How does Portage know? 99% of employers surveyed said they would hire a Portage grad. Get career ready at Portage College. Learn more by visiting portagecollege.ca.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app. This is the Oilers Radio Network.
Only once before in the history of the Edmonton Oilers has the club rallied to win 3 consecutive games when trailing by at least 2 goals. December 2005. And, of course, the Oilers ended up all the way in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final later that spring. That's the only time it's happened in the history of Edmonton. It's only happened 8 other times in the history of the league. Vancouver up 3-2. Led at 1.3-0, looking for insurance on the power play. Napa Auto Parts penalty kill. Nugent Hopkins, Henrique, Brown, and Nurse. Quinn Hughes, a pair of power play goals already. Off the draw, turned it over behind the net, and Darnell Nurse winds it around the boards. Demko, a sloppy knockdown, and that forces Hughes to come all the way back into the corner to receive the puck. Connor Brown, meanwhile, has hopped over the boards. Lead pass ahead of Janmark, and that's well offside. Whistled against Brock Besser, as we got a glimpse of what it would look like if there were no offside in the NHL on that long toss for Besser. Bring the face-off all the way back inside the Vancouver zone. 4:02 to play in the third period, and a minute 22 left in the cross-checking minor against Matthias Ekholm.
Oilers got to get a kill here to give themselves a chance, Jack.
Vancouver 2 for 3 on the power play tonight.
It's called being the master of understatement.
Face-off win by Miller against Connor Brown. Canucks, meanwhile, looking for just their second win in their last 8 games, their 4th win in their last 15. They have struggled and fallen out of a playoff spot heading into tonight. Besser shoots from a sharp angle and missed. Miller gave it back to him on the right half boards. Off the wall, Hughes to JT Miller. Fires, and a blocked shot by Ty Emberson. Sees that puck hurtle out of play. 56 seconds left in the Napa Auto Parts penalty kill, and 3:36 remaining in the hockey game. As Bob indicated earlier, the Oilers will take tomorrow off, return to practice Monday in preparation for a Tuesday tilt against the Washington Capitals, who lead the league after Winnipeg was beaten earlier today. It's Washington all by itself atop the league at 31-10-5, and the Canucks are going to take a timeout here. 3:36 to go in the third. I don't mind this from Rick Tocchet.
He knows what he's doing.
Reset with your top power play unit and see if you can get a key goal that would keep Edmonton at bay.
No question.
It's a 7 o'clock face-off, by the way, against the Capitals. Cam Moon and Bob Stauffer will have the call for you live from Rogers Place, opener of a 6-game homestand. As we said, a grueling first 2 weeks of January, and then February will be a lot of travel between Four Nations Cup. No doubt some holidays for the Edmonton Oilers and road trips both preceding and succeeding the Four Nations Cup. St. Louis and Chicago before the Four Nations, and then after, Bob, you and I will be in Philadelphia to start, and that's a trip that takes Edmonton through Washington and the Sunshine State.
It's going to be a tough trip, Jeff. That'll be the toughest trip of the year.
But that's next month. This is the present. Vancouver 3, Edmonton 2. After the timeout, it's Miller against Henrique. In the face-off circle to Skinner's right. And Henrique dug in, won the draw, pounded up the boards by Nurse. A good zone keep by Besser. Nurse tries again, and this time succeeds. Hughes knocks it down at the Vancouver blue line and rushes the puck into the offensive zone. Miller with 40 seconds on the power play, hands to Hughes. Then back to Miller. 2 assists already tonight. Feathers one to Besser. Miller one more time. Little spin move on Connor Brown to Besser. Hughes looks for a lane, dishes off. Connor Garland, not there. Hughes, 25 seconds on the power play. Garland, not anticipating a return pass, has to spin away from Josh Brown. Checked against the boards by Henrique. Freed up by Brown to Nurse. Up the wall, Quinn Hughes. Little spin move on Connor Brown, and an errant pass chases Besser back to center. And the Oilers are going to get this kill off. Lead pass, Pettersson, heading for the net. Garland fires, and a save made by Skinner as Ekholm comes charging out of the box. McDavid plowed his way through a potential hold against Pettersson and sent it up to Ekholm, fresh out of the sin bin. Here's Soucy up the boards, knocked down by McDavid. Feathered back to Bouchard, 2.5 to go. Skinner to the bench, and we've got an extra attacker, 6 on 5. Draisaitl and Hyman unable to keep it down low. Sherwood turns, clears, and Suter had an opportunity to clear and eventually iced the puck. Ekholm back, and the whistle will go with 2:12 to play in the third period. Now, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman just came on, so to my estimation, no need for a timeout here. The Oilers will probably keep it in their pocket and a way to face off to Demko's right-hand side.
Got to win the draw.
So Draisaitl, McDavid, Nugent-Hopkins, Hyman, Bouchard, and Ekholm out there 6-on-5.
And Vancouver has won about 62% of faceoffs in this game.
And the Oilers have been a top 5 faceoff team all year long. Draisaitl against Suter. Maybe another indicator of the fatigue you're talking about. Off the draw, Suter ties it up. Soucy spun it off the glass. Ekholm, brilliant job of keeping it in. McDavid looking for the equalizer. Draisaitl let it go through to Bouchard on the left half board. Shovel down low. Suter able to knock it down and pin it against the boards. Hyman comes over to chisel it free. Now it's McDavid protecting on his backhand. Reverse pivot, left circle. Tried to center, broken up by Sherwood. Won a battle against Suter, but cleared by Rodick. And we are not going to have icing called, but we have a puck play with a high stick at center. Was it Nugent-Hopkins?
Yeah, they also lost 3 seconds on the clock here. I don't know if anybody on the Oilers bench got it. It's 1:37 when the call was made.
Now, when the call was made, when was the puck touched? Also at 1:37?
1:37, They lost 3 seconds.
Yeah, 1:34, and no indicator yet.
Chris is,
yeah.
He's saying,
I think they're going to put some time back on this clock. Good eyes, partner. 3-2 Vancouver. Skinner has to return to the pipes with that puck play with a high stick. The faceoff comes back into the Edmonton zone. Draisaitl will take the draw against JT Miller, and they've actually put 5 seconds back on, so 1:39. Chris was even greedier than you, partner. Here's Miller against Draisaitl, who won the faceoff. Ekholm over to Bouchard. Vancouver trying to crowd Edmonton in the offensive zone. As McDavid moved up ice, Skinner headed for the bench. And indeed, the extra attacker on. Pedersen pressure down low in the corner against Bouchard. The puck pops loose, and now Ekholm has it. And here come the Oilers with 1:15 to play, trailing 3-2. Looking to extend their winning streak to 5. They're down a goal. Nugent-Hopkins over to Leon Draisaitl, right corner. Curled it in front, McDavid. Broken stick for Pedersen. It's 6-on-4.5, basically. Here's Draisaitl, biding his time right circle. Loading up, feeding. Bouchard showed one-timer. Minute to go. McDavid to Draisaitl. And that rocketed up on the glass. A diving Pedersen moved it back towards center. The Canucks will get a 5th stick out there. It's Bouchard up the left-hand side. Demko reaching, can't get there. There's still shards of that stick on the ice. It's guided by Draisaitl out to Bouchard. Now it's Ekholm. 40 seconds to play. Shot wide of a screen. Demko. Rebound Draisaitl on the right half boards. Peers inside. Bouchard down low. Tipped away. Miller will knock it into the corner. McDavid, 25 seconds. Dishes. One-timer Bouchard. Deflected wide. Ekholm shoots it through the crease. Here's Bouchard to McDavid. Poke checked off a stick. Bouchard will keep the line. Looks, fires high on Demko. Rebound off the boards. 12 seconds. Draisaitl shoots. Block shot. Rebound. Nugent-Hopkins. Draisaitl fires. Block shot. 5 seconds. Bouchard. Draisaitl, and finally a penalty will be called.
McDavid just cross-checked Garland. Oh, and then a brutal cross-check by Myers. He just cross-checked Evan Bouchard right in the face. There are guys flopping all over the place.
Draisaitl staring down Connor Garland.
I would put Josh Brown out for the final 2 seconds. I'm serious.
Draisaitl and Garland wrestling. No meaningful blows exchanged.
This game is over, but
Well, it's 2 seconds. Where's the face-off going to be? Myers and McDavid have been sent off. A wild sequence of block shots.
See, no matter what, the face-off's coming outside the line, so you can't win the game.
If both players were penalized. I didn't actually see an arm go up with McDavid. I did see with Myers.
He got a penalty. So
Garland was swarming McDavid, and McDavid finally got up and cross-checked him right in the chops.
It was coincidental. He came up too on him. And then
Well, what's coincidental was Myers drilling Bouchard. Garland did not cross-check McDavid in the face.
Came up. He had his what? He had his two hands on his stick.
Right. Well, most hockey players do have two hands on a stick.
He made it count, Cross. He knew what he was doing.
All right, here's the replay. Now tell me where...
Right. Both up.
But he doesn't hit McDavid in the head. McDavid hits him in the head. Now Myers absolutely belts Bouchard. Look at this. Let's see if they show it here. I want to see the Myers hit.
Garland could have gotten called for 2 or 3 calls before that. He
was holding McDavid, and McDavid had finally had enough.
Right.
Now where's the Myers cross-check?
Let's get the call.
We have major penalties on the play. We will now go to review.
Under review.
Like he's tackling him once.
Now look.
Yeah. No.
What I'm waiting for is Myers on Bouchard.
Just a horrible officiating performance tonight. I mean, why is that not called? With 8 seconds left in the game, there was no call.
You're saying a hold potentially on Garland.
Should have been called. And now they're going to show the one on...
Well, Myers just finishes on Bouchard, then the swinging of the stick.
And then he comes up.
Let's see what happens here. Cross-check right in the face.
He's getting suspended no matter
That'll be a suspension.
That'll be a suspension for Tyler.
Myers, a cross-check right in the face. The actual hit was fine. Bouchard tapped him on the backside. And then Myers, when Bouchard persisted, cross-checked him right in the face. I mean, that is not what McDavid did to Garland. McDavid and Garland were jockeying for position, and McDavid's stick rode up and caught Garland in the face. Now, the Canucks were also unhappy with Hyman getting his stick up as well. I mean, this is, again, a product of a 7-game series. Bitterly fought. Vancouver never trailed at any point in the series until Game 7. And the Oilers won it 3-2 to advance to the Western Conference Final, and Vancouver's 109-point season went for naught.
If the officials do their job and call Garland for any one of the 2 or 3 plays, I mean, at any point, none of that happens. And these guys, it started in the first period. Of course, let's not forget Carson Soucy cross-checked Connor McDavid right in the face last year. Got a 1-game suspension. Would have been a 3-game suspension in the regular season all day.
I would say there have been calls missed on both sides.
Both sides. They've had a tough night. And it's been an emotional night.
Well, in Vancouver, the emotional tempo of this game has been set by Vancouver, not Edmonton, because the Canucks are a desperate club on the outside looking in.
They're playing hungry. And the Oilers didn't play with the same sense of desperation early. Why?
Well, they're reviewing to see if there's a 5-minute major on Myers, not McDavid. I think they're looking at the Myers. They announced they're reviewing a 5.
I wonder if they're reviewing 2, Jack. I got to tell you.
I don't think McDavid's getting a 5 for
They
that.
just informed the Oiler bench. That is not a good sign for Connor McDavid.
I find it hard to believe McDavid and Myers would be handed out with the same degree of justice. It's not close.
I'm going to guess here that we're looking at major penalties both ways.
By penalties on the play. 97 Edmonton has a match penalty. Number 57, Vancouver has a match penalty.
There you go.
Everyone else on the ice has minors.
I don't agree with McDavid's being a match penalty.
You knew it was coming.
I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with McDavid's being a match.
This is the only...
Myers was a match for sure, and McDavid absolutely. But I don't think it's a match.
So what happens is the world's best player has to take matters into his own hand because this league doesn't protect their star players. Right? They don't call penalties as the playoffs go on.
In the meantime, we get a little Belinda Carlisle reverberating throughout Rogers Arena. There's 2.3 seconds officially on the clock. And because of the coincidentals, the faceoff is going to come out to the neutral zone.
Everybody that was out there has got to go off here. And Brown is, if I'm Brown, I'm putting him at wing. I'm putting him up at wing.
That was a wild sequence with bodies strewn all over the ice.
Oilers still have the net empty. 2.3 seconds left.
Why not? I mean, 6 on 5, you never know. Henrique will look for a clean face-off win, and either Nurse or Arvidsson will try to tee one up from beyond the blue line. Josh Brown is up on the wing.
If I was him, I'd go right at Carson Soucy, right off the draw. Yes, that's what I'm campaigning here for.
Henrique against Max Sasson. Won the faceoff. Arvidsson, a shot sails wide, and the game is over.
Canucks won the gamesmanship battle tonight. They were the more desperate team.
3-2 the final, Vancouver. The Oilers limited to just 15 shots.
None of this happens.
And their 4-game winning streak comes to an end.
None of this happens if Wes McCauley,
who you typically like,
I think he's historically been one of the best referees in the league, and Chrisley, if they do their job and give Connor Garland a penalty, any one of the 3 they could have called, none of that would have happened. And the exasperation and frustration that McDavid shows at the end of the game is a direct result of the fact that there could have been 3 separate penalties on Connor Garland. And that is the gamesmanship battle that the Vancouver Canucks won tonight. I mean, if you're an Oiler partisan, you're sitting there and you're saying, you know, Garland, greasy play against McDavid, and he got away with it, and he induced the frustration. And then conversely, Myers sits there and cross-checks.
Well, for me, Bob, the story is the Oilers, for the first time all season, don't even get 20 shots on net. Well, they got 15, including 8 in the final 2 periods. They scored twice on 5 shots in the second period, Bob. They got 3 in the third.
They were the second best team on the ice tonight. That it needs to be established. The problem is we got an inconsistent performance from the third team on the ice, and Vancouver had some energy going, and the best player on the ice by a mile was Quinn Hughes. And there were 2 games for Vancouver. When he was on the ice, it was played one way, and when he was not on the ice, it was played another. And the Oilers,
and that's typically the case in Canuck games, as you pointed out early.
Slow to react. Nobody pounded Quinn Hughes the entire night. And look at how they handled Connor McDavid at the end of the game.
I mean, you heard what I talked about in the pregame show. You got to get bodies on Quinn Hughes.
You play Vancouver on Thursday. You got to run